as we continue to give you all the best programming that we know how. All right? So stay right here with me.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. There's no one else like you, Jesus. You're worthy. Holy, holy is the Lamb. Holy, holy, holy. Sing.
And so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Thursday from 10:05 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. for the program Straight and Narrow, The Way of Life, The Health Store, being brought to you by Mrs. Arlene Collins Mohammed. For more information, check us out on Facebook or Instagram at Straight and Narrow, or visit our website at www.opulence.com/Arlene for Life. You can also call or WhatsApp at 309-4697 or 620-9379.
The steel pan, the only musical instrument invented in the 20th century, is a reflection of the perseverance and innovativeness of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, which have always been central to our development as a nation. And the steel pan story epitomizes this, carved out of life and struggle and determination, rising out of the spirit of the African drum. The steel pan stands today as evidence of innovativeness, creativity, and passion for life integral to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Kwesi Paul. Join me each and every Sunday from 9 to 12 on the Street 91.9 FM.
Tune into the Street 91.9 FM
every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
for the Repairing of the Breach radio program with me, Bishop Showinal Thomas.
The scripture says, "And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in."
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the Street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the Street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the Street 919 FM. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me." John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845, 349-5178, or 342-7303.
This is Bishop Aaron Williams from the Divine Problem Solving International Ministries, inviting you to be part of our broadcast on any given Thursday night from 12 midnight right on to 5 a.m. on Friday morning. And this broadcast is called Early Morning Gospel Market Program. Then we have on Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. the Holy Ghost Gospel Pharmacy. If you are sick and ailing, you could get from this particular pharmacy, from the pharmacist, the good things of life. Hallelujah. And any Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, break into the host of the Philistines. Hallelujah. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, hearing the babel of false doctrines that you encounter daily, it's about time you get close to God, God's word, direct from his throne room, in the name of Jesus.
God has good plans for his people. Why do you worry so much?
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Oh, Jesus. Come on, don't stop. Just lift your hands right now. Oh.
Altars where you need us. Take me there. If what you need is just an offering, it's right here. My life is here, and I need a living sacrifice for you. You're the fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. Be tried by fire. You refine. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire. You refine. You take whatever you desire. If your glory wants to come in, let it fall. We want it all. Your fire is consuming. Fill this place, set it ablaze, and I'll be your living sacrifice for you. You're a fire, the refiner. Try by fire. Sing. You refine. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire. You refine. You take whatever you desire. So clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Take my life, yes Lord, it's a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, only. The fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. You're the fire. You're the fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. You're the fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. Life is not my own. To you I belong. I give myself to you. My life So take my hands, purify my heart. I want to burn for you, only for you. Take my life as a sacrifice. I want to burn for you, only. Please my head. Come on, purify my heart. We're not it's not my will, but your will be done. Take my life as a sacrifice. I want to burn for you, only for you. I want to burn for you, Jesus. The fire of the Lord is here. The consuming fire is here. Burn, burn in our hearts, oh God. Burn in our hearts, oh God. Burn in our hearts. Take our hearts as a sacrifice, holy and acceptable, an offering unto you. We want to burn for you, Jesus. Take us as a sacrifice. As a sacrifice. Burn, burn. Oh, holy for you. You're the fire, the refiner. You're the fire, the refiner. He's the fire, the refiner. He wants us to come close. Place your eyes on me, said the Lord. Come near, child. I'm the fire. I'm your passion. I'm your encouragement. I'm your purpose. I'm your future. I'm the fire. Come near. Come up higher, said the Spirit of the Lord. Just like what he told Moses to come up higher. Oh, and he's about to reveal himself. He's about to reveal himself. He's about to reveal it. Oh, I wanna be consumed. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. You're enough. Tried and Jesus. We need you like never before. As your spirit moves upon our lives, let us realize that. Let us realize that. I may be pressed on every side, but you are with me. Surrounded day and night, but you are with me. I may not have the strength to fight, but you are with me. Though my heart and flesh fail, you'll always be my strength.
It's Trinidad and Tobago. So as I promised you, I have a guest who's going to be with me today, all the way in the UK. So you could come on the live, join me on the Street 919 FM Facebook page and on Iwer TV, on YouTube. This song by Nataki Lendor is a real best song, you know. Trinidad and Tobago, I ask you to join me on the live on the Street 919 FM, where I have with me my good friend, and I call him my big brother. Yeah, my big brother. See, I'm not letting on the secret that's on. I will tell you how I would let out the secret, and I'm glad that he's on. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to let out this secret, right? Let me tell you how I'm going to let out this secret, and I'm sure that he isn't aware that I'm going to do this. So listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago. This is how I would introduce my friend and brother to Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this.
There are people in this room right now who are serving a life sentence. They're serving a life sentence behind bars. Now the bars I'm talking about is not the bars of a prison made of steel, but it's the bars of words. And those words were spoken over you. You're no good. Sometimes from you are young. You're the ugly one. You're the outside child. You don't deserve this. You're stupid. You're an idiot. You're too female. You're too male. You're too dark. You're too light. You're too big. You're too skinny. You're too this. You're too that. And these become bars, and you come behind the prison of those bars. And you become somebody who serves the life sentence. What do you mean by that? It's a life sentence, a life sentence. I'm not talking about time. I'm talking about the words, the sentence. you are ugly. And you begin to serve that. How do you serve that life sentence? You serve that life sentence by living according to what that was said. Anytime you begin to obey what was said, you begin to serve it.
Hey, Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm going to introduce my brother and friend from the UK, Pastor Michael White, the pastor of one of the beautiful churches in the UK. And I must say, happy anniversary, my brother. You celebrated a year in your new building. And I was there. Even though you didn't see me physically. But I was right there with you, celebrating and taking the limits off.
Man.
How are you, man? How are you? Good to see you.
We are well. It's great to see your face, my friend, and to all of the amazing people. I miss Trinidad so much, man. I miss Bus Up Shirt. I miss Bakes and Shark on Maracas Beach. I miss. Yeah, man. The pandemic has spoiled us being able to travel as much as we wanted to. Right. But I look forward now. Things seem to be drifting into the history regarding the pandemic, being able to get back out there again. But great to see you, man. Great to see you.
I am really happy that you took up the invitation to talk to the nation today. We celebrated 60 years Diamond Jubilee as a nation on Monday. All right?
Yes.
And as a nation, we reflect and we look, and we would have looked at our strengths, our weaknesses, but most of all, we would have reflected on leadership. And it would have took a strong leader to take us to the place of independence and republic. And now we have reached our Diamond Jubilee as a nation, where we are reflecting on how could we make our nation a better place where leadership is concerned. And the reason why I asked you to be a part of this discussion, because I'm having several persons coming and share with Trinidad and Tobago how can we become a stronger and better nation by choosing wise leadership.
Man, you've opened a whole can of worms here. The fact is that I'm in a different country, so I say this with great humility, because though I'm in a different country, I have no right to really judge anybody else's leadership in their country. However, we do have the right to observe what leadership should be. And I think number one, for me, if you're asking me about my opinion on leadership and what it takes, I think, a good leader, a strong leader. Number one, there's no perfect leader, because everybody's perception of perfection has a variety of interpretations. And this is the fascinating thing with today, especially in today's culture, where what we traditionally viewed as morality, what we traditionally viewed as normal or acceptable, has gone into so many shades of gray now, you know? Right. So by virtue of that, different people have their perspective as to what perfection is. So a leader, you know, you've heard the phrase often used, you know, you can't please all the people all the time. Yeah. And that's a fact. So we have to accept that as a bottom line. However, there are some basic things that I think that leaders really do need to be able to be embraced by a community. And I think, let me just talk about three things real quickly. Number one, I think a leader needs to make sure that or whoever we put in leadership, we need to make sure that that person does not suffer from what I call, when it comes to leadership, metathesiophobia. Metathesiophobia. Metathesiophobia is a fear of change.
Right.
There are a plethora of fears. There's a blutophobia, there's pyrophobia, there's all kinds of arachnophobia, there's fear of spiders that some people have. But metathesiophobia is one of the unusual phobias. And I'm using that here just to underline the fact that many leaders don't realize that when you get into leadership, you have to make friends with change. In terms of change of policy, change of your own policy sometimes, and being upfront and honest with the people, and letting the people know, look, here's why we have to change, and here's the change we're going to make, without really being deceitful, without being confusing, being able to articulate and communicate the reasons, the integrity behind the reasons for the change. So I think metathesiophobia is a critical one.
No,
the other thing is, I think, go ahead. Go on.
I really want to jump in here because
Go ahead.
I know that you can identify with what you're talking about because you would have taken over from your dad.
Yes,
and
yes,
that
of course.
change, you had to put yourself in different generations.
Yeah.
Because there's the elders that were there with your dad from foundation. There were the youth that were coming in because of your youthful disposition, and you had to join the two. You had to join the two, and I'm listening to you, and I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, you all have no idea who we're talking to today. This is a young man who God has propelled into a real prime time of his life. I want to boast so much about you, but I know that you have some things that and I want you to be real straightforward with our nation, because we have the East Indians, the blacks, the Spanish now. We have this nation is multicultural, but there is one thing that I know that we always talk about when we meet, is how can we get our people, which is black people, to embrace good leadership too. So in your discourse, my brother, I want you to drive home that point too, because sometimes we neglect the aspect of understanding that, hey, in order for us as a people to really embrace proper change and to move forward, we need to embrace what you're talking about there. So go ahead, my brother.
Yeah. Well, going back to that whole thing about the fear of change, change, leadership and change, fire will burn, leadership needs to deal with change. They work hand in hand. And so for me, you're going back to my own experiences in taking over an organization. That's aside from my own personal businesses, taking over a church organization that was quite steeped in tradition, had a great season in its day, but needed change. And so as a leader, you have to be prepared to embrace change and explain the reasons. Here's the key thing: explaining the reasons, articulating, communicating clearly with integrity the reasons and the necessity for the change.
Say that again.
You bully the change.
Say that again. Say that again. No, what you're saying is important. And this is a nation you're talking to, and our leaders are listening to you. I want you to say that again to them.
Yeah, I think the key thing here, what I'm trying to articulate, is the fact that it's important before you bully the change in, that you explain and communicate with integrity the reasons and the necessity for the change, and let the people get some emotional, psychological buy-in, and then you can bring that change in. And I think that's one of the key things, which is why I mentioned that whole issue of metathesiophobia, because I found that many leaders love the platform, but they don't really want to take time to explain to the people the reasons for what they're doing. And I think leadership isn't about necessarily always trying to be popular. It's not necessarily always about, although of course in politics you're trying to win votes oftentimes, but one of the ways you win the hearts of people is if you take the time, if they perceive that you're taking the time to explain and communicate exactly why you need to bring that change in. So that was number one. That's to do with metathesiophobia. Number two, I think as a people, we have a responsibility as an electorate to make sure that we do not elect. Watch this now. We're so focused when it comes to elections, when it comes to politics, when it comes to who our leaders are going to be. We're so focused on democracy that we forget there's something more dangerous. There's something dangerous called kakistocracy. Kakistocracy is the worst kind of leadership, is when you're electing into leadership people you already know don't have the integrity to really carry out the leadership role. And so we have to accept some things here. And number one, the first thing you have to accept is that humans aren't perfect, as we mentioned before. Humans are not perfect. You won't get perfection, because perfection, number one, has a variety of interpretations now. But number two, I think it's important that we understand that when it comes to who we're putting in position, we've got to make sure that we are putting proven people in. Proven. Not just because they're new, but we want to see proven. What have you done? Biblically, I don't want to turn into hyper preacher here now, but biblically, the Bible even tells us that, look, even when it comes to the role of a bishop, it talks about, let's see how that person has ruled their own home. how they've ruled their own businesses, how they've ruled in their own personal life, how they've dealt with that before we actually put them into leadership positions. So I think the electorate has a responsibility to investigate and to find out why is we should just put somebody in position. Have they ruled anything before? You know, one of the other things I actually, now the electorate, your listeners might not agree with me on this. This is a little bit controversial, but I think it's also important for us to maintain integrity in political leadership. This is a personal opinion of mine, that we need to make sure that people aren't necessarily on boards of companies that they can give backhanders and easy access to funds to. I like the Singapore and some of the systems in Asia where politicians are paid a decent amount so they don't have to take on other board jobs. So that way they remain holistically independent when it comes to their opinions, when it comes to voting. We know they're not just going to be voting on certain companies, oil companies or whoever, being able to do stuff because they'll get paid from it. It's because these guys are being paid, these ladies are being paid correctly, so now they can be independent and political and focus on the whole political arena and not be distracted by dealing with things for favors for friends that they're on boards of.
Right. And what we have, I think what we have in our constitution is that if you are affiliated to any company, you have to recuse yourself. If let's say the government is discussing, the cabinet is discussing a matter, and you have any interest in the matter, you recuse yourself. So you have to immediately leave the room and have no discussion where that is concerned.
I get that, and I appreciate that, but I still don't. Leaving the room doesn't mean you've left. You're without influence, because rooms have friends, and friends of friends of friends of friends of friends. And so, by virtue of that, I just believe it's important. If we're going to have, I think one of the cleanest ways of walking forward with politics is you're going to be our politician, you're going to be our politician, and that's that. Right. There's no other boards you're going to be sitting. I just think that's a cleaner way of doing things. But that's just a personal opinion of mine.
Of course, and you are a man who can share your personal opinions, and I'm really glad that you're sharing them today. So tell us, leadership where we're now looking at in the 21st century, we're talking about millenniums, we're talking about going into after the pandemic. Now the countries around the world have to look at how to feed themselves, how to be able to sustain themselves. Even though we were talking, and I don't know if you remember, there were times where you would hear everyone saying that we're living in a global village. But that global village only existed for certain things and for certain people. Because right now, we're recognizing, and we recognize as a nation, we recognize that, hey, this global village that they were talking about, when it came down to food and to vaccines and to different things, people started to hoard because they didn't know where things. So my thing is, as a leader now, you need to see where that would have taken us, or where we were as a nation, where that whole being left out and having to fight for certain things in a so-called global village. Now, as a leader, as we are coming out of this pandemic, you have to now look at getting your nation on a proper footing where sustaining yourself is concerned, where food production is concerned, where a lot of things of like scientists, sending your children to learn to become scientists, to be able to have your own vaccines if possible, like Cuba. I don't know if you heard about what happened in Cuba, and even in South Africa, there were young persons who were well equipped to be able to invent their own vaccines for their nation. So those are some of the things too that I was looking at as a leader. You should be looking in the future towards.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, number one, when it comes to, you mentioned the phrase village, the global village. I think every leader of every nation, or even in a more micro, less macro, more micro context of leadership, you have to make sure that if you're going to be part of a village, you're only part of a village. Village speaks about relationship. Yes. Village speaks about support. Village speaks about connectivity. But you're not part of a village if you don't have a voice. You're not part of a village if you don't have a voice. And so before you climb into that village, will you give me a voice? Will I be respected? Will I be heard? And a leader needs to make sure that whatever they're leading, if you're going to lead that to become connected to something, then you need to make sure you have a strong voice and that your voice will be heard. Going back to the issue of the whole investment in the future, 100%, that's a necessity. I think it's great when a nation can be self-sustaining and have its own members, its own inhabitants, its own population filled with people who are rich with resources, education, being able to provide and being part of that global medical community. I loved what I saw going on in Cuba. I've been to Cuba myself, and I've seen how amazing their NHS, their national health system is. It's phenomenal. And so I think for me, I love when I see leaders investing in the future, trying to also expose your people to other young people, especially in this country. One of the things we're happening in the UK is it's important that our young black people especially are exposed to other black people who are in these key professions, not necessarily just ballers and just musicians. I love ballers, I love sports, and I love music, and that's all lovely. But we also need some of our young black people to be seeing pilots, to be seeing scientists, to be seeing, all these, and this is stuff that we need to be pushing even as leaders in the community. Within the Tab Church, which is our church, we've got doctors, we've got scientists. In fact, one of my members is a scientist on the board with, working on the project with one of the vaccine companies to try and come up with an oral pill as opposed to the needle, because what they realized is that many people who were trying to avoid the vaccine, some were saying, of course, because they prefer not to, and you have to respect them for that. We won't argue over that. It's just your opinion. That's fine. But others, it was simply a fear of needles. Right. So they're working on the oral pill. And so these are the ideas that were actually coming out of young people who are saying, look, let's look at the different ways we can try and address this stuff. And it came from when governments, when systems invest in the future by making sure they empower young people with the education that will then represent the nation. And those young people can then even come back home. Even if they choose to fulfill a career in another nation, they'll always be able to have that heart to come back home. And you can set up contracts with them that they'll come back home and serve their home nation.
Wow. Let me say good morning to all the people joining me on Facebook and on YouTube. I want to say thank you all very much for taking the time out to even come on the live and be a part of the discussion. Somebody's saying on the live, Pastor Michael, that you're preaching, You say, this man preaching. Wow. Wow. I want you to continue with the discussion of leadership in the aspect of propelling or encouraging black people to move forward in their thinking and in their mindset, because we have leaders who they think, and nothing is wrong with that, where they think about the nation. But if we be honest, there are some people who clearly need a little more push. I've listened to Tab from Sundays when I'm finished at church, and I listened to Tab, and I said, clearly you have tapped into understanding the people that you are serving. And that's the other thing too with leadership. You have to understand the people that you're serving. If you don't understand them, then you will always miss the mark where they are concerned. And one of the things I've realized in government and in being a prime minister of a country like this, of ours, where it's multicultural, you try to be balanced. You try to be one where, okay, we can't just earmark one race of people to try to, help. But if those people need the help the most, how would you encourage or tell a leader, hey, these people need a little more assistance or a little more hand up than others?
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's systematic oppression that takes place in every context where a minority group especially is overlooked, downtrodden, and you can only then expect the majority of crime, which is often a cry. Crime is often a cry. Crime is often a cry because you feel like you're being crushed. You feel like you have no access, no voice, and therefore then out of desperation, people do things to try and survive. And so, of course, governments have to analyze that, have to look at not just simply punitive responses, as in let's just throw everybody in prison who commits crime, but we have to look at the reasons behind why these things are happening. And oftentimes you'll find in cacistocracies, in a cacistocracy, a government will just react and grab everybody and just throw them in jail and just oftentimes basically tag or mark a particular group as just being bad people, rather than investing and investigating in why it is there seems to be so much crime happening from one particular group. And you'll find out it's often because of systematic oppression, economic negativity that's taking place within particular communities who need that investment and that analysis. The other thing I want to say here as well is the fact that when it comes to helping young people and different races climb up, races who have been pushed down, climb up, it takes mentorship. You know, mentorship is a critical way out and a critical way for us to use to help develop potential in people. Some of our young people who are going to be the people who are going to come out with the cures for some diseases in the future, some of the greatest minds are yet to be mentored. They need to be mentored, just like a garden, just like a seed of greatness. A seed of greatness is planted in soil, but that soil needs to be treated. That seed needs to be tended to. It needs to be mentored. And so I think it's important that we set up mentorship programs between, especially in a country like yours, between races, where some races may be seemingly having more superior jobs. Set up not just usership, but mentorship. When I say usership, I'm just talking about somebody taking somebody on and just using them as a lackey, as a servant, just to go and run and grab coffees and just to do your bidding. But train, educate, develop, mentor, bring out of them the greatness that's on the inside of them. Ultimately, mentorship is going to help really provide a path for people to be able to become more productive and for them to be able to receive information. And ultimately, that will bring transformation to the nation.
Wow. Yeah, man. And I know that in London, there were a lot of knife crime that was happening in the black community. I haven't heard much of it for a while now, so I would have wanted to find out what you all would have, or what would have been done to try to curb that knife crime that was happening. Because I know that Lewisham had a lot that was happening. And in Croydon. No, it still exists. It's still there. What's ideally needed is investment in ground groups. I call them ground groups, or some people might prefer the rearrangement of the language of saying groups on the ground, the local community groups who are really connected to these young people and are able to provide the mentorship that's necessary. The surrogacy as a family, because they'll need to get out of gangs who have become their families because they have no family. Right. And so this is where the investment's really needed. And so there's pressure, there's lobbying, there's advocacy, there's an approach to local government to try and get them to invest in some of these local community groups who are working very closely with these youngsters. And, you know, there's testimonies as to how turnarounds have happened within those groups, as well as with the church, because of course the church is one of the ultimate places of transformation and becomes a family, a surrogate family to those who had no family and were easily ensconced into local gangs. So that's one of the ways we're trying to curb that. Beautiful. So Trinidad and Tobago, we're talking leadership. And if you're now joining me, because I'm seeing the numbers on YouTube and on Facebook going up. So if you're now joining me, thank you for being a part of the discussion today. I have with me Pastor Michael White from London, UK, Lewisham to be exact. Lewisham High Road. If you're living in London, you're locked onto the Street 919 FM, because I have listeners in the UK, all right, a lot of them. And if you haven't yet visited the Tab Church on Lewisham High Road, you are missing out. That's the place.
Come on, man. Come visit us. Come hang out with us. Come.
And tell them Pastor Google. Or tell them you heard about the Tab Church on the Street 919 FM. Just tell them that you want to see Pastor and say, Pastor, I saw you. On.
Come on.
All right.
Come shake my hand. Come shake my hand. Let's hang out a little bit. Talk to me, tell me, and make sure you bring some bakes with you when you're coming.
Yeah. So tell me, I know that from now you are, I'm sure you have a lot to share where leadership is concerned, because you have a multicultural church. There, I was looking yesterday, especially. I was looking, and I saw a lot of different, people in church on Sunday. And how do you capture their attention and get them to, somewhat realize that, hey, this is bigger than just race, but this is now humanity?
Yeah. Well, I think number one, Jesus is the God of all. That's number one. So, of course, we're a faith-based organization, and so he's our focus. But number two, I want to say this. I don't speak Caribbean. I don't speak Yoruba. I don't speak Igbo. I don't speak Irish. I don't speak Scottish. I speak human. I speak human. And human, if you speak human, humans will understand what you're talking about, because all humans ultimately have the same deep needs. We all need to be accepted. We all need to be loved. We all need to be able to feel like we're providing for the people we do love. We all go through difficulty. We all go through circumstances and vicissitudes and ups and downs. And so when you speak in human, that's one of the things I teach preachers when I'm training pastors and doing roundtables and seminars. I tell them, as much as we go to seminary and we learn Greek and we learn Hebrew, which are the original languages of the Bible, we must learn to communicate in human, because humans ultimately will be able to walk away feeling like they've heard from you when you can speak in human. That's what Jesus did. Jesus spoke to people in the language that they'd understand, and he spoke in their human language. And when I say human language, I'm talking about connecting with things that made sense to them. When he talked to fishermen, he talked about fish. When he talked to farmers, he talked about seed and sowing. So it was always in a way that really was digestible to the people who are listening to him. And so I think that's one of the other things when it comes to leadership. Leadership needs to understand how to communicate to your constituents. You need to learn how to communicate to your constituents. Otherwise, no matter how important, relevant, no matter how important what you've got to say is, it will never communicate because it's not relative. It doesn't relate. No matter how relevant what you've got to say is, it won't be relatable. You've got to be able to speak in the language of the people.
Wow. Trinidad and Tobago, I want to take you to the worship team of Tab Worship, and then we're going to come back, Pastor Michael. I'm going to play a song from Tab Worship, and then we're going to come back. And I want to get the listeners a little more involved. So I'm going to take some calls so that you can hear from the listeners, and take some questions from the listeners for, discussion today.
Yes, sir.
Lift your hands, everybody. Team, begin to lead us as we worship the Lord. Come on.
God who never changes.
Trinidad and Tobago, that is Tab Worship. You can go onto Facebook, you can go onto YouTube and just type in TAB Worship, and the only song is Cry. Hey, Tab Worship. I can't wait. I cannot wait to get back into the house where Tab Worship is, man. The first time I heard Tab Worship team, I was blown away.
They are phenomenal. We are so blessed as a church to have. I mean, they've released an album. They've got the latest single out, which is "The Cry," which you just played.
Yes.
And now this month. Oh my gosh, I don't know how they do it so fast, but this month they're releasing an EP called Anthems. You can already pre-order it on all digital platforms. It's called Anthems. It's Tab Worship Anthems. It's the kind of anthems, they're the songs basically that have been the most demanded. So they've just put them together in an EP. And one of them, that song you just played, "The Cry," there's another version of it on the EP, which I use as a prelude for prayer. If you ever, any of your listeners want to get themselves ready for prayer, some of your prayers I found are ineffective because you didn't set yourself up in your spirit before you went to God.
Yes.
And that song, "The Cry," on the EP, brother, that sets me up every time. It's phenomenal. The Tab Worship, we're so blessed to have them.
I'm going to get my copy when I come over. You have to make sure my copy is ready for me. And I'm going to be at the Tab Church in October. Even if I have to sit down and listen to the word, I'm going to be at the Tab Church. That's a place to be.
Come hang out, brother. Come hang out. And you know that's Black History Month in the UK as well, October.
Well, I'm prepared to give you the history. To give you some history on Americans and Americans who came to Trinidad and Tobago. And that's
I'm talking about the Caribbean. I'm
a descendant of the Americans, so I'm going to give you some history on that, my brother.
Wow.
I'm going to give you some history on that. So again, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, Pastor Michael, and being on the Street 919 FM. My listeners are appreciating you a whole lot. I'm seeing all the messages on Facebook and on YouTube. People are really, really glad that you came on and giving some really nice information on leadership. We see where the UK has now changed leadership from Mr. Boris.
Yes.
Now to a new young lady. You want to share with us a little bit about that?
Well, this is another season in our transition in leadership, in government. And of course, for those of you who don't understand, some people may not understand, she's not elected. Liz Truss is going to be the new Prime Minister of the UK, the second female Prime Minister in the history of the UK. We
is
had
she the
Margaret.
Second or the third?
We had Margaret. Well, actually the
Margaret
third.
Thatcher.
She's the third, but I mean, you're right. She's the third, but she's the fascinating thing about Liz Truss though is the fact that she didn't win by virtue of an electorate vote.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Was members of the Conservative Party who elected her into the position.
Right.
And so by virtue of that, we didn't have a hand in electing her. So I didn't have a hand because I'm not a member of the Conservative Party. So in that kind of way, that's the angle I'm coming from with that statement. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because, of course, she's made lots of promises and they've been, unfortunately, and you have to let somebody do their thing. Let's see what they're going to say. Let's see what they're going to manufacture. Let's see what they're going to manifest. But she's been using lots of the typical promises that politicians use. Typical promises about tax cuts and this, that, and the other. And we're hoping this is not going to be another kakistocracy. That it's not going to be another lack of integrity. She's going to have to make good on it because the country is economically supposed to be entering another recession shortly. Our fuel prices have gone through the roof, and in October, that's when we're really going to feel the peak of it. And so she's got a lot of work to do, a whole lot of work to do.
I want you to share a little more about that because there are some people, especially in the Caribbean, don't understand that, this recession, as you're talking about, that the UK is going into, will impact not just the UK, but other parts of the world. And why is it you all are going to enter a recession? Because of the fuel prices.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the whole globe, to be quite frank, is going to feel economic impact. The whole globe. America's already there with inflation at one of its highest rates. The UK, our inflation is about to go to one of its record-breaking rates, unfortunately. And so the whole, especially Western world, is about to feel the impact of that by virtue of what the larger nations are going through. Part of the problem of that, anybody can just watch the news. You can Google this. This isn't particularly erudite or perspicacious, but the fact is that things like the war in Ukraine are not helping with the energy because of the whole issue with Putin and the gas control that he has with the gas resources that serve so much of the world. When it comes to the Ukraine, people didn't realize that much of our wheat and some of our food products and other things come straight out of the Ukraine, and there's blockades and there's things slowing things down. And so that ultimately has a massive impact on the globe. And then, of course, when we go over to the Middle East, you know, whenever you see problems in the Middle East, that's going to affect oil prices. So there's all kinds of things happening around the globe at the moment that are impacting our economy. And so everybody's going to be affected by it. I dare say even the Caribbean.
Yes. Yes. And as a leader, how do you comfort your people, or how do you prepare your people to go into a season like that? Because, you know, there are some people who press the panic button. You know, Jesus coming soon, and you have to get, you know, that kind of preaching, you know that kind of mindset that they start to get people scared and be. Yes. How do you get your people now prepared for that? Because as we just played, your worship team can usher people into the presence of God, into that confidence. You see, I want to tell you this, you know, I'm telling it publicly. You see, when you have a worship team like what you have, my brother, that ushers people into the, I don't say just into the presence, you know, but into the confidence of who God is.
Yeah.
When a recession comes, your people mindset is that the God that I have been singing about with such confidence in.
Yeah.
Recession could come and go, but I know.
Yeah, preach now, come on.
That God has everything in my life in his hands and in control of everything. So I shouldn't be asking you how you prepare your people to get into this mindset of the UK is going into a recession. That I'm sure that must be the last thing on your people's minds, because they know that if the God who kept them through a pandemic, where you all were building a church in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes.
Nah, man. I take back that question. But if you want to answer it, you could go ahead.
No, I mean, I'd respond by simply saying that we take a duality approach when it comes to trying to prepare for things like the recession. A recession, number one, is a word that we shouldn't fear because we've been through many of them before. 2008 was a massive global recession as a result of the whole credit system coming out of America, where they were giving mortgages to people who really weren't going to be able to afford to pay the mortgages, and then that affected the banking system, which affected the globe. So we've been through things like this before. However, what we recognize is that we train people not to panic, because panic always affects your perspective.
So that
Panic always affects your perspective. And you've got to be careful that you don't allow yourself to be intoxicated. And I use that word specially. I use that real special here for this conversation and this particular part of the conversation. Do not become intoxicated with the negative words sown into you by especially the media. That will bring on things like depression. That will bring on, listen, even before you get to depression, people get disappointed. And I found out that disappointment is an intoxicant. You can get drunk on disappointment. And when you're drunk, you see things differently. You talk strangely. You hear strangely. And you may walk strangely, going into places that you shouldn't go into. So I advise people not to be drunk on disappointment and to be careful of how you process. Now, there's a difference between facts and the truth. There's a very big difference to your listeners between facts and the truth. The fact is inflation is going up. The facts are that fuel prices are going up. The facts are that the globe is in an economic problem. But the truth is that that doesn't mean that's how the story ends. The truth is, my God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches in glory. The truth is that God has never let me down yet. The truth is that I've been through recessions before and I've come out the other side.
Amen.
And so never allow the facts to drown out the truth. That's number one. Number two, we have this, as I said, this dual approach where we approach things spiritually, like I just mentioned, and we have number two, a practical approach where we believe in showing people how to set budgets. We believe in directing people to places, signposting people to places that can give them the information and the guidance and the resources, learning how to get the benefits, engage with the economy and the systems that have been put in place to support us. So you have to have an amalgamation of both approaches. You can't just preach about the spiritual, but you also can't just talk about the practical. You have to have the amalgamation of the both to help people not to go into a zone where panic affects their perspective.
Thank you very much. We're going for a break. I have to pay some bills. I'm going to come back and we're going to take some calls from our listeners on the Street 919 FM. Thanks again, listeners and viewers, for being on the Street 919 FM. We're going for a break and come back. And when we come back, Pastor Michael is still going to be with us and we're going to take some of your calls. Yeah, it's important that we take your calls. Don't touch your dial.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., to the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Law and You, and every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. All Night Prayer Live, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. For further information, call 753-1113 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com. Reggae Rock Sundays featuring MC Duke and Selector Kutchi present Reggae and Rockers. On board the Embassy Yacht on September 24th, Republic Night. Boarding 10 p.m. and sailing at 11 p.m. at the Hyatt Waterfront in Port of Spain. Get your reggae groove on. With top DJs, Selector Kutchi, Bruce Wayne, TC, and Heavy Duty. Early bird tickets cost $150. After that, you pay more, $175. For tickets, call Selector Kutchi at 777-7909 and MC Duke at 349-4121. Reggae and Rockers Republic Night. No oversized schoolers allowed. Don't miss it.
Hi, I'm Valentine Garcia.
And I'm Nikki Garcia.
Please join us on the Final Hour broadcast every Thursday at 9 a.m. on the Street 919 FM radio.
Every week we will journey into the amazing Word of God. So please join us.
See you then.
Hi, Trinidad and Tobago. This is yours truly, Pastor Charles, streaming live from Port of Spain
Trinidad, Marvel Road, 91.9.
Our services start from, 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning from the first, the second, and last Wednesday of the month.
We are going to have a TRME time in the presence of God. We will be praying, praise God, for our nation. We'll be praying for families. We'll be praying for those that are sick and those that are in need. Truly to the best station, 91.5 FM Street Live, Port of Spain, Maribel.
Job Optimum Health and Wellness. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Get your Bioplasma Diagnostic Full Body Scan. Examines all of your organs in a single session. 95% accuracy. It's painless, non-invasive, and affordable. Call Pastor Job at 350-2628, 767-1031, or 275-6300. Sick and tired of being sick and tired? Get your Bioplasma Diagnostic Full Body Scan at Job Optimum Health and Wellness.
It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Right here on the Street 919 FM. Each and every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with yours truly, MC Duke, alongside Selector Kochi. So make it a date and don't be late. Rock and come in, so line up, link up, creep up. You don't know reggae rock each and every Sunday. Salute God Amari, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Lift your hands, everybody. Team, begin to lead us as we worship the Lord. Come on.
So let me say one time, this song is going to be a staple on 91.9. All right. So I don't know about anybody else, but for me, this song is going to be played every day.
I'm glad you like it, brother. I'm glad it's blessing.
Yeah, man. I know that's your niece-in-law.
Yes, who's singing lead and the genius, one of the genius that wrote the song. So Bianca is singing lead on that song, but the lady who wrote the song, she's a genius musically. She's just an absolute genius, and God gave her that song during the pandemic in her kitchen. She testifies about it and talks about it. Lena. So Lena wrote the song, and Bianca is lead singing the song, and it's just an amazing thing.
Wow! We have a foreign caller that is with us. We have a first caller, and it is a foreign number. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Pastor Google.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Canada.
Mr. Toronto, man.
Mr. Toronto is in the house. How are you, Mr. Toronto?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. It is just by God's will. I said, I get up late this morning, but I said, let me turn on to Pastor Google this morning. I hear this gentleman preaching. Listen, it's God lead me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, son, and everything that this gentleman said, man, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And I would like you to bring him back You know, even possible every day. I can listen.
I hear you, Mr.
You understand, Pastor? What a wonderful job you guys are doing. I appreciate everything that you guys doing on this radio station. I just be listening, you know.
Thank you.
But it's hard to get in. Hard to get in.
I know that.
Yeah. But anyhow, Pastor, God bless it. It's a holiday here till Labor Day.
Okay.
And God I send all my blessings and love to Trinidad and Tobago and to you and your family, Pastor God, and the pastor there and his family.
Yes, Pastor.
God bless you, my brother. God bless you. God bless the whole Canada crew.
God bless.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, man. So the numbers to call 342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, 771-1791, and 466-5391. I want to tell you that you see your nephew, he needs to go and do some media course. I've been looking at him. I look at how he's so enthusiastic and so he moved from the drums and actually now has a microphone in his hands and in talking about the service, talking to people after the service, doing a proper comprehensive report. I think he needs to do some sort of journalism, something. He needs to go into the media and get himself.
For real. He's gifted. He's very gifted. Very gifted.
Hello, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Pastor Google.
Good morning. Pastor White is with me also.
Is a pastor also?
Yes, Pastor White from the UK.
Thank you this morning. There's different something this morning that have a warmth around the area this morning.
Yes.
Yes, it's beautiful.
You don't have any question for him?
I would just, every day, we should have about an hour in something like this, particularly around this time for young people like me who are doing nothing to absorb.
Yes.
You understand? But it's good. And I hope you should take him until 2 o'clock this evening.
He has meetings, you know. You think Pastor White don't have anything?
Because, it is beautiful.
Yes.
You sit down there and you can feel the difference in the atmosphere around.
Wow.
Like something is absorbed, saturating in your brain or in the spirit.
Yes.
This is what's happening here.
Wow.
So good morning,
Pastor White.
My English brother.
God bless you, my brother. God bless you.
Sometime and keep what do you call that thing?
A service?
A service somewhere, you open a tent and something like that.
Yes.
Yes, sir. God bless you. Yes, sir. God bless you. I love Trinidad and thank you for your call. Thank you so much.
And I'm glad you talk about the bacon, something in Marcus and stuff like that. That's good. To let the people know around the world that we are a delicious country also.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you for the enhance the morning. Thank you. Pastor Google, have a nice one.
You're welcome.
Want to tell somebody that Pastor Google is on the air, would appreciate.
All right, Mano.
He was asking me to come back this evening.
He's asking you to come back. Hello, good afternoon. Well, good morning. Every afternoon. Good morning. Hello, caller. All right, call him. I have to call me. Hello? Yes, you get through, ma'am. All right. You didn't realize you got through. Yeah, so people are saying that you really brought a fresh thinking, a fresh sound, man. And that's good. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Pastor Burger.
Hi, good morning, Miss Chama. How are you?
Fine. And good morning to Pastor White.
Yes.
God bless you, ma'am. God bless you. God bless you.
And God bless you, my son. I'm a 70, going in 71 years old person. And I listen to you and the word of God. God bless you, my son, and stay safe. And may continue your work. All God's blessing on you. Okay? Yes. Have a blessed one.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. God bless you. Bless you.
Wow. I'm glad that you are a blessing to the nation this morning, Pastor White.
It's humbling. It's humbling being able to serve my Caribbean brothers and sisters.
Yeah, man. So if you have a question you want to ask about anything that he would have spoken about, you can call us now on 342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, 771-1791, 466-5391. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Pastor Google.
Hi, morning.
Blessed love to you, my darling.
Same to you.
I would like that gentleman to pray for me, you know.
You want him to pray for you?
Yes, pray for me and my eye health.
Oh, your eye health. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be willing to do so.
Yes, ask him to pray for me, please.
Sure, Pastor White.
God bless you. No problem. Do you mind me asking your first name? What is your first name?
Brenda.
Brenda. Father, I pray right now, I join forces, Father, with my brother over there in Trinidad as we touch and agree spiritually in agreement.
Woman, it's a female.
Yes.
I know. I'm talking about my brother Kervin. I connect with Pastor Google.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem, darling. No problem. I connect with Pastor Google and I pray, God, that you will respond to Brenda's eye need. Yes. I pray, God, that whatever's causing the issues, that you will climb into it. And, Father, that you will give her a supernatural turnaround. I pray that even as she consults with her medical doctors, let it be ultimately your hand that guides them to rectify whatever is causing the problems. We ask for, Lord God, relief from all discomfort and that clarity will be brought like never before. We believe you for it. And we say thank you for it in advance. In Jesus' name, amen.
You know what, I want you to consider one of these days for us to talk about men.
Yes.
And men issues.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of men who are facing a lot of disappointment, hurt, and some men struggle with something that we call midlife crisis.
Yeah.
That we don't talk much about. And I think that something that I want us to highlight and talk a little bit about. So we're going to make arrangements for you to come back on.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And midlife crisis is something, I'm telling you, Pastor White, that a lot of Caribbean men are fighting with.
Right.
You know, they say I fight with it. You know, there's some people, my wife tell me I'm struggling with my midlife crisis because she see I like to die every head. You know, to realize you're getting old.
Yeah, too funny.
Hello,
Yeah.
good morning.
Morning, Pastor Google.
Good morning, Uncle Sterling.
Peace and blessing. Greetings to high out in this weather at this time and moment.
And my friend with me, Pastor Michael White from the UK.
Blessings to Mr. Pastor White.
God bless you, my brother. God bless you.
All greetings to you and your wonderful words this morning.
God bless you, sir. I'm glad they were a blessing.
Good. Pastor Google, we talking leadership.
Yes.
And I want to find out from the pastor, because it's troubling me all the while, it keeps troubling me. Pastor, I want to find out from you, please.
Yes, sir.
How do you deal in a country where it have two leading entities and somehow one of the entity is not agreeing to serious status into the nation, whereby one is agreeing to certain status to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? How do you deal with that, Pastor? That is all I want to find out this morning. Thanks in a million for the time. Thanks for your blessings over the nation, Trinidad and Tobago. And may you keep peaceful and safe for me, please, Pastor.
Before you leave,
Google, thanks for the time.
Before you leave, Uncle Sterling, I don't want you to confuse my UK friend too much. So you can clear it up a little more. You understand the question?
I was going to ask you, because I missed a little part of it. Can you interpret? Tell me what was. Give me some clarity on what was being asked, please.
What he's asking really is, how do you, as a leader, how do you deal with a situation where you have other leaders around you who are not having or seeking the country's best interests at heart.
Right.
All right. They are a significant leader. Let's say they are they are in opposition. They are the opposition. But there are things that you can come together with the government to solve the issues of the country than just to oppose. How do you deal with that?
Well, number one, I think you have to find comrades. I think it's a battle for integrity, number one. Before it's a battle for policy, the first battle is for integrity. In every situation where you are surrounded by others who are in an arena such as politics, you have to find comrades who have the same core values as you and who are determined to keep those core values consistent. Whereas politicians talk often about policy, I think the first thing we want to see is integrity. And you'll only get that when you have comrades who believe in what you believe in, so that there can be consistency and in delivering what you are being asked by the electorate to deliver. And so for me, you've got to find, as a leader, you've got to find people who are like-minded. Even myself, I try, even from a faith-based perspective, to surround myself with leaders who have integrity, who have the right to call you when you seem to be wavering, who have the right to, when I say call you out, privately, rebuke you, correct you. Nobody should be so arrogant that they're beyond correction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I think that's critical. Also, I think as a leader, you need to make sure you've got mentors. Again, I think you need people who have gone through the system, who know the challenges that you face, especially when there's others around you who may be corrupt or may lack integrity or who may not be trustworthy. And sometimes you can become poisoned by them. And so it's important you get mentors around you that you can rely on to help pull you through, so that their hindsight becomes your foresight.
Right. Say that again.
You need leaders ahead of you whose hindsight becomes your foresight to help you stay right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's critical for you to be able to maintain your integrity as a leader, so you can deliver what you've promised to an electorate or to your members or to your organization or whoever, whatever context you're called to lead.
That's important. That's important. And hearing you saying that brings to mind the perception that sometimes as a leader, you have to take hard decisions that is not going to be popular.
Yeah.
And when I hear you talked about the new Prime Minister who coming in the UK, there are people who would say that instead of her saying that she's going to cut this and cut that, she has to be realistic and see what's happening in the global, as you say, global village. And if she has to say to the nation, hey, because I looked at the gas prices when it went up, electric bills in the UK went up. And there are people who, I looked at a BBC report where an elderly lady from Lewisham, she talked about, she's the president of the pensioners group, and she was saying that the money that they're living on with the pension right now, she has to take off her electric bill. She have to take off all of her electric things and go in the bus. Sometimes she just go in the bus to get the heating to go back home.
Yeah.
And I was wow.
Yeah, well, it's interesting what you just say about that. During the lockdown, a lot of people had to work from home, and working from home became a luxury. People really fell in love with the fact that they didn't have to travel to work. And then when the lockdown finished over here, people were, workplaces were organizing themselves, saying, actually, we can cut overheads if people stay at home. We don't have to have an office. We can start working virtually. But now with the fuel prices, a lot of people are saying, no, actually, I want to go to work because I can switch off my heating at home and rely on the workplace. So I understand where you're coming from with your observations there. And this is one of the things we've got to try and deal with over here as we go through this economic downfall. I think one of the things that people are going to be doing, I think everybody's going to be doing, is going to be keeping the heating off more, heating one room, keeping one central room heated, and being more focused on our bills. I was dealing with somebody the other day that I just personally helped pay a bill that they could not believe came to them for an average size house, a £2,000 electric and gas bill.
Whoa.
I don't even know what that is in £2,000. I know, and I don't know what that is in
that's $20,000.
That's $20,000, right? There you go, $20,000. That's gas and electric combined, and they were in a lot of trouble. So I tried to help them out as best as I could. to get them out of that situation. It's a serious situation, but we're going to have to be wise about it. We can get through it. In terms of what you were asking about Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister, her promises about cutting taxes, she has a completely different economic approach to this situation from the other candidate, who was a guy called Rishi Sunak, who was the actual treasurer. He was the money man for the country, and it would have been interesting to see how his thing played out, because he's a rich guy. He knows how to handle money. So it depends on what your philosophy of economics is as to which one you believe. But hey, we're going to have to trust her and see what she does now. Is she really Liz? Is she Liz Truss that can be trusted? That's the question.
Someone is saying, gentlemen, you are on the button. All right, that is in response to what you were talking about. People are really, 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 really blessed and happy that I have you on today. Someone is saying, Pastor Google, bless your guests. They're really, really, really happy with your words of wisdom. And I must say again, Pastor Michael, thanks for taking the time to be with me today. I know you have a really busy schedule. And I looked at your video on Sunday with some of the plans that you have for that building. And I first of all, I remember you had spoken to me about the history of that building. And now for it to come back into the hands of the kingdom, and to the hands, not just into the hands of the kingdom, but into the hands of a young man who has a vision from God.
I love when you call me young man. I love it. I love it because it gives me hope. It blesses me. Every time you call me young man, you become more like my best friend. Our friendship becomes more solidified, my friend. I appreciate that.
Oh my God. You know what I felt sad about? I can tell you what I felt sad about Sunday. When you told me you sold that building, man. That history.
Oh, the old building.
Yeah, man. I was telling my wife when we were looking at it, I told my wife, I said, that building has so much history, man.
Yeah, oh yeah. But you know what's great? What the positives are the fact that the building has, buildings, we got to always be careful that we don't treat buildings like idols.
Right.
From a biblical and a faith perspective.
Right.
It's important to make sure we understand they are only tools. They are not God. They are tools given to us by God to fulfill the passion and the ministry and the purpose, to fuel the passion and fulfill the ministry and the purpose that God's given us. And what we've been able to do economically with that as an organization is phenomenal. It's going to help fuel our future. And another church, we were able to sell it to another community group. So it's not just going to be knocked down and turned into random flats. Right. It's another spiritual, integrity having spiritual entity that's going to be using it and serving the community in that part of the borough as well. So we're excited about that. God has been good to us. We're excited. And we've got even more news to announce in the coming weeks. I was tempted to announce it on Sunday morning, but I held back. And but we've got some great news. God is blessing us in an abundant way.
Yeah, man.
At the Tab Church London.
Yeah,
and
man.
Also the people, what means so much to me. And I don't just say this to sound, to give the usual cliches that a pastor or somebody in leadership is supposed to say. I'm sincere with this. I love hearing not just that we're being blessed at a macro level as an organization, but that the blessing of God is leaking. It's flowing into the lives of the people who are connected. People don't understand how important it is to be connected to a good, blessed organization. Yeah. And God's hand, the jobs, the promotions, the businesses, and this is all in the midst of people talking about economic downturn. Yeah. And yet we're hearing blessing on so many different areas in the church.
Wow. Trinidad and Tobago, if you're living in London, and again, I'm touching people who are in the UK who would listen to this program from time to time. There's a particular hospital in the UK, I don't know if you know of them, St. John and Elizabeth Hospital.
Okay, no, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that is, it's more city. It's a private hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some people there who listen to this program every day. St. John and Elizabeth. It's actually on the street where the Beatles studio was.
Okay. Abbey Road's probably down by
Abbey Road. Yes,
Abbey Road Studios. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
Yeah. So there's a hospital there, and there are some nurses and midwives and things who listen to the street now?
Well, listen, nurses and midwives near Abbey Road Studios, come and visit the tab. Now, we're not church as usual. We're a different. You might come and you'll be shocked because we don't look like regular church, because we're more focused on relationship with God than the religiosity of traditions of men that have been placed on many people and hindered their development of faith. But wherever you are, come on down, hang out with us. We've got members who travel all the way from other cities. We've got members who come from far outside of London every Sunday. They come to the tab and they serve in ministry as well. We're so humbled by it.
Wow.
We're so humbled by it. I'm just thinking, even one of our members, she's a doctor just outside of London in Kent, and she travels in and she serves faithfully. We've got people from all over, and it's such a blessing. We're not perfect, which is probably why we're perfect for you, because a perfect place would be too intimidating. So come on down and hang out with us.
And as I said to you before, we're gonna hook up again, Trinidad and Tobago. Look out for it. We're gonna advertise this program for men, getting the men to talk out and to share their views and to share their hurts and to share. And I want to ask Pastor Michael to be a part of it. I don't know if you know Bishop. What's his name again? There's another bishop that I want to have on from the UK also. His name is Bishop Mark Nichols. Mark Nicholson.
Yeah, I know the name. I know him. I know of him. Yes. He's a blessed man of God. Man of God.
I want to have him also. And
go for it.
And as you know, one of my spiritual fathers, Bishop Wayne Malcolm.
Oh, that's my big brother. That's my friend.
You know, you can't have a men's program and not have him on.
Come on now.
All right. So I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to share with us. We could be getting ready to move over into another segment. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to share on your mind that you think that you want to talk to. You have the leadership of Trinidad and Tobago Airs right now, and I want you to share with him or share with her anything that you want you think that they should know.
I'll just encourage you. I won't say anything too technical, but I want to encourage you. I want to encourage everybody who's a leader. Miles Monroe said this. He said that everybody is a leader, but not everybody's called to lead people. And so the first thing we've got to understand is, what is our capacity? Am I really called to this? Don't just climb into leadership in ministry because it looks good. Don't just do it because you want to be seen, but do it not because you love the platform or the pulpit, but because you love the people. Because everything must start with love and passion for people's betterment. If you're just in it because you're looking, especially when it comes to faith, some people just climb into leadership positions in the faith community because they just want an opportunity to preach. And we're not here to fulfill the fetish that you have for attention of people listening to your voice. People should be following you because you have a passion to lead them to a better future, spiritually, naturally, psychologically, emotionally, so that they can be holistically better off and healthy as they walk into their destiny. So I want to encourage everybody who's called to lead people. If you're really called to lead people, understand, as I said before, Miles said, not everybody's called to lead people, though everybody is a leader. And you've got to understand what your capacity is, and are you in it for the right reason?
Very interesting. I'm seeing some messages coming in on our Facebook page. One person is saying, definitely going to look for your ministry on YouTube. So
God bless you. Saying the Tab London on YouTube. We're the Tab London, TAB Tango Alpha Bravo London on YouTube. And follow me on Instagram and follow the church and our worship team. The Tab Worship is Tab Worship, just Tab Worship for the worship team. For me, I'm at Mike White London. Mike White London.
Right. Somebody else is asking a question. Pastor Michael, do you have any facilities or any programs to encourage young black men in their purpose and in their calling?
Yes, we do something at the church called, it's an in-person gathering. We do it seasonally because men tend to operate, we found, best seasonally. When you think about sports seasons, football season, baseball season. And so we do something called Empower. Empower. It's a play on the word to empower you, because we want to empower men to become the great men that God has predestined them to be. And so we have gatherings with usually some between 100 and 200 men. We gather them together and we disciple them. We help to teach, and we have practical explanations, discussions, connections, and friendships and connections that are built to empower these men to become who God called them to be, because men are under attack, and masculinity is under attack in this generation. And so these are things we're trying to look at biblically through a Christian lens and make sure we develop men who are walking in the image of Christ.
Someone is saying, Pastor Michael, I'm a leader in the spiritual and also in my secular job. But one of the things that I struggle with is intimidation. How do I overcome intimidation in my workplace?
Well, I think the first thing you've got to do is understand I want to probe that more. Let me open by saying that. I'd want to ask more questions about that. What is it in particular that's intimidating you? Is it your boss that's intimidating you? Is it the job itself that's intimidating you? Here's one thing I will say. If it's the job, something you've got to understand here is that you've got to be able to differentiate whether something is a blessing or a burden in terms of a career. Because the Bible says, and I'm a Bible believer, it says that the blessing of the Lord adds no sorrow. Sorrow, key word there. So that means you could be in a career or a job that is challenging. You know, work's always challenging. Work has challenge to it. But if it's causing sorrow, maybe that's not the career for you. And so I'd want to probe some more as to what it is exactly that's intimidating you. If it's not the job itself, but it's people or a boss in the job who is really bullying and being condescending and being negative and affecting you and troubling you in an unfair way, then you've got to really take evidence down and take that lead. You don't need to spiritualize that. What you can do is go and see I don't know if you have your HR department in your workplace, write down the evidence as to what's going on and go and make a complaint. And make sure you talk to maybe a counselor or a trusted friend inside of the workplace or even outside who can become another comrade to help support you as you progress that complaint through, because nobody's humanity should be undermined, even in a workplace.
Wow. All the questions coming now. All the questions are coming now. Someone is asking... Pastor Michael, do you all have any facilities for children on a Sunday? So while church is going on, if there's any place for children, like children's church or anything like that? I think that's
yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We have what we call TAB. The church is called the TAB, and we have TKC, TAB Kids Church. It's currently in a facility that's a little distance from the current location, so you'd have to drop your kids off there and then come on to the service. But we have it in place, and that's about to have a drastic improvement in the coming weeks as well. So, which I can't wait to announce about. So I'm excited, especially about what our kids are going to be experiencing, which I'll be able to reveal more of in the coming weeks. But yeah, we do have TAB Kids Church.
Wow. What time are the services? Because I know there's some people who might be listening from the UK and they may want to know what time is your services.
Sure. Our services are at 10:30 a.m. every Sunday. We encourage you to come in person, though we have an amazing online stream as well. But we encourage you to come in person because online you can get a good word, but in person you catch the wind. And we want you to come catch the wind of the anointing in person. And so 10:30 a.m. every Sunday, and first Sunday of every month, we also have a phenomenal worship night where we just go in hungry, chasing the presence of God as TAB Worship, our worship team, lead us. And we've had supernatural breakthroughs, miracles, healings take place in that atmosphere of the presence of God on those worship nights. So I'd encourage you, if you can, on the first Sunday night of every month, come on down and hang out with us as well.
Wait, that'll be the 2nd of October.
Yeah.
You realize I went to the almanac to see when is TAB Worship. In October, it's the 2nd of
But I want to
October.
encourage you, encourage you, come on, because if you're over then come and hang out with us. And by then as well, the EP, the TAB Worship EP will be out. All your listeners, go online right now, and pre-order Tab Worship Anthems. Tab Worship Anthems EP. I promise you, it's going to bless you. I promise you. And the cry on there, the cry, there's a song called The Cry. It's a prelude to prayer. For the next 7 days, I want to challenge every listener who's a believer to use that song as your prelude preparation before you go to the throne of grace in prayer, and have that atmosphere set that stirs your faith so that your prayers get even more breakthrough. Get ready. God's going to blow your mind.
Yeah. Someone is asking, Pastor, if someone wants to govern a country and they are not speaking the truth, most of the times when you listen to them, they are not speaking the truth and they are not willing to unite the country. But it appears as though they are getting a lot of support. What would you say to the country? Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know if you understand that question. So
just run it by me again.
All right, so basically they're saying that if someone wants to lead a country and they're not telling the truth, they are telling lies, and they are dividing the country via race, really. But it appears as though they are getting a lot of support. What would you say to this country?
Well, one of the great things I say to the country, be careful of a kakistocracy. Be careful of creating a kakistocracy. But what I will say is, if you believe somebody's going for leadership of a country or whatever, going for a leadership, and you don't believe that whatever that person's saying is the truth, then number one, you've got to be confident in the fact that you've got your facts right. Be very confident in the fact that you, in making sure you've got your facts right. We're in a social media culture now. We're in a culture where you can write blogs. Make sure you're not making information up. Make sure you've got credible information. But you can voice your opinion. That's one of the things about the generation now. Everybody has their own expression of their own opinion. You've got blogs, you've got social media, but just make sure you're not just lying or making stuff up on people. If you've got concrete evidence, then present it.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Pastor Michael, I really want to thank you.
Love you, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Because I know that your admin had said to me that you have meetings upon meetings today.
Yeah. I've just got back from abroad, and we were on a family vacation. I flew in, and my first assignment was Saturday. I was the guest speaker at a conference on Saturday night. Then Sunday, we had our big celebration Sunday morning. Then Sunday night, we had the big celebration concert. And then this morning, I had another radio interview. Then I had some meetings. Then I have this one. And then before the afternoon's out, I've got another 2 meetings. And then I think one more this evening. So it's a busy day. But man, you are our brother. So we make the time for you, sir. We make the time. And you know, I miss Trinidad, man. I miss Trinidad, I tell you.
I think we need to get you down. And
yes,
I'm seeing it publicly. So if the minister is listening, the Minister of Gender Affairs, I would love to have, I will ask her if she can have you come and do a men's conference for the country, Trinidad.
Oh, come on. Would love to. Would be a privilege to serve you all, most definitely.
So I'm seeing it publicly again, Minister Ayanna Webster Roy, if you're listening, I'm going to come to you with a proposal to have Pastor Michael White come and do a men's conference in Trinidad and Tobago.
Bless you. It'd be my honor, my privilege to serve.
All right, my brother. So thanks again for being with me.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And love to all my Trinidad family. Love you guys. Save me some bakes and shark on Maracas Beach for the next time I come over. Love you.
God bless, man. All right.
Bless you now. Take care.
God bless, man. That is Pastor Michael White from the UK Tab Church.
Team, begin to lead us as we worship the Lord. Come on.
You're the God who never changes. To the God who is eternal, we cry out. To the only one who's able to deliver, restore, and heal. Come on, church, let me hear you. We cry out to the God who never changes. To the God who is eternal. To the only one. Restore and heal our land. See, we're calling out for it. That's all up for you. You're the God. Yes, we're calling out to you. Anybody wanna lift up their hands and say you're the only one who's forever faithful. We're calling out to you, God. You're the only one, forever faithful. Yes, we're calling out to you. We're calling out to you, God. You're the only one, the only one who's able. Anybody calling out to him? Their soul's not moving. Say you're the one, forever faithful. Yes, we're calling out to you. You're the To the God who never changes, we cry out. To the God who is eternal, we cry out. To the only one who's able to deliver, restore, and heal. Come on, church, let me hear you. We cry out to the God who never changes. To the God who is eternal. To the only one. Restore and heal our land. See, we're calling out for it. That's all up for you. You're the God. Yes, we're calling out to you. Anybody wanna live?
So if you're on our live, if you're on our Facebook live, you're seeing the Tab Church worship team live right now. You're going to see them. So you can see them live on our Facebook page. So once on our Facebook and our YouTube page. So once you are on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, you're seeing the tab worship team. So again, I want to say thank you to Pastor Michael White for being a part of the discussion today on the Street 919 FM. So we're going to come back after the news and we're going to talk about all the current affairs and issues that are happening on Constructive Talk. With me, Pastor Google. So again, I want to say thank you to all of you who are on the live, Facebook and on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys. We're going for a break. We're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to be talking current affairs and issues that's hitting Trinidad and Tobago.
The Street, 919 FM.
The only radio station bringing perfect balance between entertainment and talk. Updating you with current affairs and social issues.
So what, we should just sit down and take the foolishness that's being meted out because of you all, you feel that all you're real bad?
Right? Unlike his situation that I don't even want to go back and bring up and highlight.
You don't have a good record where that is concerned?
Having you in the loop with trends and entertainment. Providing music that lives on.
Darling, I feel the disco.
And spiritual food for the body, mind, and soul. The Street, 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
In Trinidad and Tobago, there are so many things to talk about. Social issues, injustice, child abuse, domestic violence, political scandals, and much more. On HOTP, we will cover all that and much more. Don't forget, you can catch us every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday nights from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Facebook and Instagram. Hot off the press. Hot topics, no filter.
The steel pan, the only musical instrument invented in the 20th century, is a reflection of the perseverance and innovativeness of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, which have always been central to our development as a nation. And the steel pan story epitomizes this, carved out of life and struggle and determination, rising out of the spirit of the African drum. The steel pan stands today as evidence of innovativeness, creativity, and passion for life integral to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Kwesi Paul. Join me each and every Sunday from 9 to 12 on the Street 91.9 FM.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for the Way, the Truth, the Life radio ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845, 349-5178, or 342-7303.
Blessings in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Nikki Garcia, and you are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 in the morning on the street 919 FM radio. Here, Pastor Helen Garcia and my husband, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. Tune in and prepare to be blessed.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune into the street 91.9 FM
every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m.
for the Repairing of the Breach radio program with me, Bishop Showinal Thomas.
The scripture says, and they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairers of the breach, the restorers of the paths to dwell in.
Don't miss it. Repairing the Breach radio program with Bishop Sherwin R. Thomas on the street 919 FM every Sunday from 10:05 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the street 919 FM.
Good, that boat I'm looking like it real bad.
Are you ready for that boat experience again? The Sea Champion and the Embassy say, book with us for that unforgettable boat ride experience. Sea Champion leaving from King's Wharf, San Fernando, and the Embassy leaving from Breakfast Shed, Port of Spain, or Westside Trinidad. For more information, call 399-5959, 281-4723, or email us at coralvisiontT@gmail.com. Book now and reserve your cruise.
Hey, that boat I look like it as well.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world. The Street 919FM.com.
News from the street, 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the street 919 FM and online, Facebook and YouTube on Iwer TV. In the headlines, a total waste of time is how some parents described the first day back out to school as teachers take a day to rest. Penal residents protest over lack of funding for their area. And internationally, 21 people dead following an earthquake in southwest China. And now the news in detail. A whole day wasted is how some parents described the opening of the new school term today. This as some teachers followed the instructions of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association to take today as a day of rest and reflect. At some schools, parents opted to take their children back home due to the lack of supervision. Tuta had advised that teachers take today off to rest after the union rejected government's salary increase offer of 0%, 0%, 2% and 0%, 0% and 2% for the periods 2014 to 2017 and then 2017 to 2020. Tuta said this represents only a 4% and 8% closure of the gap between the current salaries of education professionals in grades 3 and 4 and salaries identified in the external labor market comparators. Meanwhile, Education Minister Dr. Nan Gatsby-Dolly issued well wishes to students returning to school today, even as Tuta reaffirmed his call for teachers to rest and reflect. In a statement, Dr. Gatsby-Dolly said, "This is the first academic year that over 800 public schools are reopening for physical classes since 2019, with over 300,000 students returning to school today." The minister noted that 7,000 laptops will be distributed to students who were means tested, approved, as well as teachers starting this week. She said Cabinet has also approved major refurbishments for some of the schools that need it the most, which will begin during the next academic year at a cost of almost $600 million. In other news, government is being told to brace for a budget day showdown. The warning comes from residents from Penal and D-Bay who staged an early morning protest today outside of the Penal-D-Bay Regional Corporation. They claim that after 2 months of requesting $1.1 million from central government to aid with short-term employment and address issues with flooding, no funds have been released. Chairman of the corporation, Dr. Alan Sammy, said failure to access funds has left residents impacted by recent flooding without relief. Over 71 homes were flooded because they could not clean watercourses, he added. Internationally, at least 21 people were reported killed in a 6.8 magnitude earthquake that shook China's southwestern province of Sichuan on Monday, triggering landslides and shaking buildings in the provisional capital of Chengdu, whose 21 million residents are already under a COVID-19 lockdown. The tremor struck a mountainous area in Luding County shortly after noon, the China Earthquake Network's center said. Sichuan, which sits on the edge of the Tibetan Plateau, where tectonic plates meet, is regularly hit by earthquakes. 2 quakes in June killed at least 4 people. Along with the deaths, the quake also caused damages to homes and power interruptions. And that was the 12 o'clock news on the street 919 FM and online, Facebook and YouTube on Iwer TV. Recapping the headlines, a total waste of time is how some parents described the first day back out to school as teachers take a day to rest. Penal residents protest over lack of funding for their area, and internationally 21 people died following an earthquake in southwest China. Do enjoy your afternoon and continue to be safe. I am Vanessa Thomas.
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.
There's no better way in this world for peace and total rest. Tried and tested, Christ's way is the best. No philosophy, no creed could ever supersede what the Holy Bible, wonderful oracle, showing the people. Oh yeah, and 2 shall be in the field, 1 shall be taken. Oh yeah, 2 shall be at the wheel, sentence God to death. With falsehood and folly, they blindfold simple people for power and the profit that they get. Some would burn you at the stake, rock you and wheel you out for mere denial or even doubt. With violence and bribery they try, is your soul they want to buy. But Jesus said, come freely, all who labor and are weary, come rest in me. Christ say, rest in me. And I say, two shall be in the field, one shall be chosen. Oh yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false government shaken, while God's truth and his people are lifted high, so high. The Father never needed religion or systems of earth. His truth stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's statutes changes never. No man true government is when God leads my leaders. Oh, oh yeah. True government is when God instructed the leader. You're listening to the Father. Oh, oh, oh. Will hear me lament for true government, from the president to the parliament, transforming the government, yeah. Affecting the vagrant on the pavement. We want a leader that is heaven sent. Oh, 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 oh. Mathematicians, physicians, politicians, atheists, etc. deny God or decide to just patronize. Hey, they tolerate Christianity as just a social matter, to bury, for marriage, and to baptize. Hey man, check the first two presidents of the United States of America. They were Orthodox, practicing Christians, because the mysteries of God's plan are nonsense to carnal man. The master say walk by faith, never to extrapolate, cause he's too great. I know he's too great. And I say two shall be in the field, one shall be chosen. Yeah, yeah. Two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false government shaken to the root, while God's truth and his people are lifted high, so high. The Father never needed religion or systems of earth. No, his word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's statutes changes never. Oh man, true government is when God leading the leader, instructing the leader. We want a government that's tried and true to represent me and you from the Christian crew. Without a word from God, what we gonna do? We want a man from the chosen few. Oh, 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 oh. Somebody love somebody. This when God leads the leader. It was always true messengers of God's salvation who ruled over the earth's political fate. Oh yeah, but now thanks to the emergence of secular humanism, they separating the church from the state. Ask King David, Joshua, Samuel, Solomon, all these great folks. They knew government without God is guesswork. Without prophetic words to guide, the leader bound to slip and slide. So you know when all is said and done, they got to know the Holy One to lead my generation, my congregation. Two shall walk in the field, one shall be chosen. Yeah, two shall be at the wheel, only one will fly. Man, every stone shall be upturned and false doctrine shaken, while God's truth and his people are lifted high, so high.
Tang is helping parents prepare for the future.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world, the Street 919fm.com.
Trinidad and Tobago, so I am back with you, and we're seeing developments that, I wanted to, I need to show you a video. I need to show you a video of something, So join me on Street 919 FM Facebook page and YouTube page. So we're seeing where teachers have decided to stay home, and they decided to take a day to reflect. All right? It's a day to reflect. And seeing where, there are parents that are being told to come and collect your children. All right? Come and collect your children. So there was a video that was done by a young man on TikTok. And I wanted to show that video today, where he would have made some statements that I think I wanted to just touch base on, look at. All right? And, it's really interesting what is happening and the situation with our children. I was listening to a morning show while coming to work, listening to Sharon, and then I would have listened to some other persons. And people had different views, and they were very upset with the decisions made, or the decision made by teachers to stay away, from school today. There are some people who think that teachers have the right to do what they did, and there are some people who think that it is not right because, the children didn't do you anything. There are some people who saying that, hey, the children have nothing to do with this, so why are you now? Why does the children? And I heard the president saying a while ago also that one day wouldn't do anything. That's what she's saying. One day is not going to change anything or do anything. So then if one day it's not going to change anything or do anything, then why do it? Do something that can really cause an impact. If you're thinking about doing something, do something that could cause a genuine an impact. Don't come now to tell us about that it's not going to change. One day is not going to change anything. But again, as I just said, we're seeing where there were impacts. It impacted all over Trinidad and Tobago. It impacted and the principals of different schools are now Trinidad, Tobago. I saw where some schools in Tobago were closed and stuff like that. So I want to show you what in the news first, and then I'm going to come back, hear your views on this. So listen to this, Twitter president, and what she had to say about the situation.
Tutor sees the call it made for teachers to rest and reflect as an important statement to signal rejection of the Chief Personnel Officer's 4% offer. In an interview with the Express, President Antonia Tika de Freitas said, quote, "Our rest and reflection is on our membership, is on our board, and we do hope that the country will understand. It is not just about the money.
It is about making sure that we do what is right to have quality public education for our children." End quote. As for the request that was made by the National Parent-Teacher Association for teachers to reconsider making such a move, as the NPTA said, it is the children who would be at a disadvantage on their very first day of school, the Freitas sees it differently. She said, quote, "This question needs to be asked. How much teaching and learning is done on the first day? We are not resting and reflecting in the middle of the week. It's the first day. We are not babysitters. We shape the lives and minds of our young citizens, but we are not babysitters. What we're being offered is just about $200 before tax. So for that negotiating period, that is totally unacceptable. And of course, that is without the consolidation of the cost of living allowance." End quote. Tutor says it is open to continuing discussions with the CPO once a more palatable offer is made. The Freitas also notes that there are schools that are said to be under repairs and are therefore not ready for the reopening. She calls it unfortunate, saying there was enough time over the vacation period to address the issue of school repairs. Tutor sees it as a lack of prioritization of the working environment of teachers and the learning environment of students. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
All right, I want to thank Alicia Boucher for sharing that information with us. Right? TV6 News. That's where I got the information from. All right, so I want to show you this video now of a parent and how he felt about the news about when he found out that children are going to be teachers are going to be staying home. So as you heard the president said, she said that was the first day we don't teach anyway. You listening to this lady's logic? Boy. But Trinidad and Tobago, what can I say? So I'm going to show you a video now. Come on the live, and as you come on, share the live. Come on the live. Let me say thank you to all of you who are on YouTube. My YouTube numbers are going up. Thank you very much for all of you who are on YouTube. Thank you again for being on the Street 919 FM. So I want you to listen to this parent and how he feels about this situation with teachers staying home on the first day of school. So listen to this parent and listen to what he has to say. Join me on Facebook, The Street 919 FM. So listen to this parent. All right? Listen to what he had to say, how he feels about the situation.
One of the T's in tutor must stand for terrorists. These people have decided to do it.
All right. That's not, I think something else is playing there. I'm going to take off that. So remember, you have enough time now. You can join me on Facebook and on YouTube. And let's talk. Teachers staying home today. So listen to this parent and you tell me what you think. Do you share the views of this parent? And when I listened to him, I said, wow, some people are thinking. Listen to him.
One of the T's in tutor must stand for terrorists. These people have decided to do a rest and reflection on the first day of school because they're not happy with the 4% offer that the government has given to them. So I honestly believe that one of those T's must stand for terrorists. I want to ask members of tutor, during the pandemic, when people were being sent home left, right, and center, when people's salary were being cut in half, like myself, what were you guys doing? And don't tell me all I was teaching remotely, and because that's part of your job. It actually made it a little challenging, yes, but everybody had to undergo a certain amount of discomfort. Some of us actually lost our jobs and half our salaries, sometimes even more than half the salary. But all they're complaining about the 4% offer. If there's any parent out there who could afford to homeschool a child, I'm going to tell you something, yeah? Best you homeschool your child. Best you take the time and you dedicate the time towards educating your children, because there are some teachers out here who don't care about your children. They do not care about your children, and as the leader of the tutor said on the news last night, they are not going to be there to babysit the children on the first day of school. Nobody asks you to babysit the children, you know. People ask you to teach. People ask you to mold young minds. But everything as we all go now, a lot of the things that happens because of money. And there are no longer, or there are few teachers. It's not all teachers, eh? I know a lot of people are going to come at me for this. There are few teachers who do it only for the money and not because of the love, the passion that they first started. For those few teachers, I hope the government never gives you more than 4%. As a matter of fact, they should say, you know what, you don't want 4%, take 0%. And for the parents who could really afford to homeschool their children, do so. Keep your children home. Because there are teachers out there right now who don't care and they only babysitting. The pandemic has affected these children so negatively because of the lack of class time and the lack of interaction with their teachers and with their fellow students. And all they still want to take away from them. So to the few of the terrorists within tutor, good morning. And I hope your children or your child never has to be unfortunately treated and unfairly treated as you are treating the children of this country.
Very, very interesting. That's all I would say. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. That's all I would say concerning that video that this young man did. Very, very interesting. So what is your view? We're going to talk until 1 o'clock about your view on this situation with tutor and teacher staying home. What do you agree with the young man? Do you disagree? Do you want to add? Do you want to take away? Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Papa G. And dear listeners of Constructive Talk, excuse me, dear listeners and dear viewers, and to all the teachers and to all the students out there this morning. How disappointing. I agree with the gentleman. I agree with the gentleman 100% because I was saying that only terrorists who that hold innocent people to ransom. But my question is this, of particular observation and importance to me is this, Pastor Google, and you should do some research and you should probably pull an interview with probably the head of the Sanatan Dharma, Mahasabha. So they get in touch with the head and ask them what is their attitude towards the teacher, towards the little 4%, and how they probably have 100% attendance this morning, if you understand. And then we wondering why the denominational schools does do better. I listened to that woman, a plethora and an insurmountable Mount Everest ton of rubbish. Why African people, why black people in the majority in terms of the other schools other than the why we so blight to have them kind of leaders, if you understand. And I will tip my hats off to all those denominational schools who do not have all the resources, but their attitude towards teaching the nation's children is very different, and they seem to be very successful at it. And I am calling on the conscious-minded teachers develop a denominational attitude towards our children in this country, because every moment counts. Thank you, Pastor Google. I'll call back.
All right, thank you very much. 342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, 771-1791, 466-5391. What's your view? Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon, callers and listeners, and I don't point out constructive talk. The president of Tutor, I think she is doing teachers a disservice. Because I think that she needs to understand that she's supposed to look out for the interests and rights of teachers. There are very dedicated teachers out here who go above and beyond. Why doesn't she highlight those things so that the public will understand the challenges that she keeps speaking about that the teachers have, so we can see for ourselves? Highlight the ones who are actually out there dipping their hands in their pocket and buying things for the classroom. Let us understand what they're going through. Instead of simply speaking about not taking 4% and giving a directive to same and reflect, because the teachers are not being paid by tutor. Tutor don't pay the salary. So tutor don't have the authority to direct publicly the members to stay home and reflect. That itself carries a different kind of ramification to that. Again, I'm saying, while we know that teachers, they are dedicated teachers out there, and that a union is to protect the members. But a union also must be working in, because you're talking about children, you're talking about the future of our nation. And teachers have a responsibility. They may not have taken an oath like a doctor, but there was some type of something they would have taken when it comes to, because you're empowering people's mind, and it can't be anybody they're picking up just to empower children's mind. So there's an obligation to the job you do. It's a noble profession. This tutor, especially under this woman now, is going down a road that is very, in my opinion, very political. And unions tend to this round to get themselves embroiled in active politics. And that is very detrimental to the union movement. So again, I will tell Ms. President, who she never seemed to have an opinion of her own, redirect your energy and look at the things that could really fix the problems that teachers are having, instead of just focusing on it just 4%. Because as I heard a caller said, the Mahasabha and the Hindu schools, you know what they did? They had all the children bringing all the used books, and they had a used book sale where children went and were able to get all the books. They bought uniforms wholesale so that children who can't afford it will get it at a cheaper rate. That is all done within the school. They didn't wait on no government. They also have the link with an optician where the children who need glasses can get. Parents are coming together and they're pooling monies together to help the others who don't have. The Muslim schools are doing it. So you tell me, because it's a primary school and it's government seeing about it, let the government do everything, because who is the children in the government school? So we can do the same thing like the Hindu schools doing and the Muslim schools doing. Instead of only marching and stay home and reflect, okay, we know there are challenges, but highlight the goodness of the teachers now. And not just simply you want money and stay home and reflect. You're not doing any good because you're not getting the public support. She's not getting it. And that is what you need. And you're not getting it, Miss De Freitas, because they're going about this thing the wrong way. I don't know if it's the training you have to say those things or whatever, but there are teachers out there who work in their butts off and are willing to go to school in the morning to teach. Focus on them. Let us see what they are doing. Let us see the challenges. Don't just say, but no 4% and no 4%. I find it getting too out of hand now with this thing. Our children are the one who end up suffering. Thank you,
Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
I find it getting too out of hand now with this thing. Our children are the one who end up suffering. Thank you very much.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. Tell me along your radio. Hello. All right, you're not ready. Hello, good afternoon.
Pleasant good afternoon to you, Pastor Google.
Hey, what's going on?
Not too bad. Good afternoon to your listeners, callers, and viewers of 91.9. Pastor, for 2 years, the last 2 years, a lot of children were left behind. When I say left behind, because of the way they were being taught, there was a deficiency. In that, when they had the results of the last SEA, they found 50% of those children, right, 9,000 out of the 18,000 got 50% and under. That's why the government had a remedial set of weeks of schooling for some of those children, where approximately less than 2,000, according to what the minister told me when I called in on TV, on another frequency indicated. Right? You said, according to what the president of Tutor said this morning on that same said frequency, was that there was no consultation as far as certain issues were concerned with the minister. I did not hear anything from the tutor president for the last 2 months as it pertains to her attempting to get have discussions with the minister. I don't know if you heard, Pastor, but I didn't hear anything. You come first day, and the first statement you could make is, we don't really teach on the first day.
Yeah.
But Pastor, don't pay them on the first day. And as Jenny said, look at the other schools and what they are doing, Pastor. What is the percentage of the Mahasabha school children that came out today? What is the percentage of the TML students that would have come out today? Huh? Pastor, look at the differences when you get the results of the SCA and the other results that we normally get, the CSEC and so on. And Cape, look at the results, Pastor. What do you see? Pastor, 50% of the children got under 50%. That is 9,000 of our children. Why is it always the government schools? Why is she always have a problem with consultation as if the minister not speaking with the other representatives? She always have a negative opinion. And it's always the children that's suffering, Pastor. It's the children that's suffering. You off for 2 months, you get paid. You want to stay home on the first day too? And when she was asked this morning on the other frequency, okay, you're not accepting the 4%. What is the percentage you're looking at? You know she couldn't say? She went all along the mulberry bush. And she was asked again, okay, you don't want the 4%, but give us an idea how much you're looking at. Pastor, she still did not say. Pastor, I said on this station that people should go back and look at what the Minister of Finance said with respect to the calculations. Even the Prime Minister indicated that they will still have to borrow money. Pastor, are we going to put this country into a state of owing into perpetuity? I agree, things are hard. But you know why things are hard? Pastor, they're hard around the world because of the things that are happening like in Europe and so on. It's not just Trinidad and Tobago, Pastor. It's around the world. We have to cut the cloth to suit. They can't be lavish and have a good time and everybody good to go because the government has explained what their bills are when the month comes. The government has explained it. And all teachers were paid over the last 2 years, Pastor, even those who didn't even have the virtual classes. Everybody was paid and nobody lost salary. If even the government borrowed $17 billion to keep the country afloat. $17 billion they borrowed. They didn't have it there, they took it. It didn't take it from the HSC, they borrowed it from wherever they could. And they have to pay it back. And they also explained the bills, Pastor. And the first thing that could come out of the president and tutor mouth is to rest and reflect. Rest? Say one more rest after 2 months? What about our children, Pastor? And we complaining about, oh, this school program is not good and all sorts of stupidness. So children, you didn't have the respect, as the gentleman said in the video, to call and say, but listen, hey, there'll be no school tomorrow. Don't send your children. So you spend your money, you buy school books, you buy school bag, you buy clothes, you do everything, you organize lunch, you send your child to school, you go on to work, only to hear, hey, come for your child, like if you are walking away. So parents now have to leave now the work and go and pick up the children. Otherwise, they will have children on the street and then everybody will want to know why they're fighting. Where we going for this, Pastor? Where we going with this? Mr. Freitas, and they have no shame. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I am going to play the clip where Jewel Brown would have asked the minister about what Brian is talking about there. And I'm going to play it for you all to hear. All right? And I'm going to try to get Mr. Freitas on the phone line. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Caller.
Hello, Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Pastor Google?
Yes, Mom, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, Pastor Google, apparently tomorrow they will get their 20% because they succeed today. The children, they use the children as, use a ransom to get the 20% or 25, whatever they're asking. They use the ransom today, the children today as ransom. So now that they get through with what they wanted, they will get what they want. And, again, some people want jobs, some have their jobs, and to see they're allowing one person to, if something come to pass or whatever, some of them will lose their jobs, Because if they go IMF, they will realize, well, what will take place? And as a man said, try and homeschool the children. This is going to instill in we the parents. Let us train our children and get them to do their extra lessons at home, read books, and do whatever it is they can do. Okay? Because so far, they're using children now for ransom to get money, like what the bandits have been doing. Okay, then, bye.
All right, thank you very much. I want to play for you all this. Come on live and listen to this. Look at this, right? So the statement was asked to the Minister of Finance, and I want to play this here for you guys. Listen to this. All right, so come on live, and I want you to watch this statement made by the Finance Minister. It's a question that was asked by Jewel Brown, and I want you to listen to the statement that was made by the Finance Minister. Some of you may have missed it. Some of you may have missed it. So I want to play it for you to hear it. So if you missed it, this was done at the what was it again? Spotlight on the Economy. All right, listen to the Minister of Finance.
In terms of issues such as back pay and so on, and salary increases, how much more difficult a challenge would that be for Trinidad and Tobago going forward in terms of expenditure?
I put up a slide which indicated that the cost of the 4% that is on the table for the mainstream public service is almost $2.5 billion in back pay and $500 million in additional annual recurrent expenditure on wages and salaries. And if that is extended to the wider public sector, the statutory authorities, state enterprises, it almost doubles. The back pay goes up to over $4.5 billion, and the annual additional recurrent cost of wages and salaries goes up by $1 billion, which increases our wage bill in the public sector by 10%. That is the offer the government has put on the table. And the CPO has written to the unions some weeks ago indicating that that was the government's final offer.
I just want to point out that something there, Joel, now that the Minister of Finance has said that. Remember the market that we're working with in terms of the additional revenues of 8.2 billion. It means that half of that 8.2 billion is committed to public servants and the wider public service in the way that the Minister of Finance has just mentioned. Bearing in mind that we have already spent from that 8 billion, 2.6 billion in the mid-year review on the wider population. And also finally bear in mind that over and above what is spent on public servants, the rest that is spent on public servants also is spent on public servants.
All right, so I hope you all would have seen and heard that. All right, we continue to take your calls. 342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, 771-1791, and 466-5391. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, I'm not hearing you, Pastor Google. I'm not sure if I'm on.
You are on. Hello? All right, I don't know what happened there. All right, you can call me back because you were on and share your view on what you wanted to share on. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. I thought we had a problem. Pastor Google, yes. Good afternoon to you and to everybody at Trinidad and Tobago. Have a pleasant day. Pastor Google, can we get from the teacher the result that the government, that they are given, we are getting, the taxpayers getting from their tutoring? Can we get that with what percentage that they're asking for? What percentage they are given out of 100%? What's the result of our children? And don't come and tell me the children done. That's why we send them to school, so you can teach them. And if we cannot get results for you, then we have to base your employment on the result that we get. And if you're not teaching our children and they're not coming out with good results, we have to fire you. We have to say thank you, but move on to another job, because you cannot get paid. You can't say you want 100%, and I'm just using a figure, whether it's 10%, for, you know what, but you are giving us 0.5%. Half percent is not enough. If our children are not trained to go to a secondary school where they say you have different grades, right? Where the prestige are secondary and junior secondary. And you cannot send a child to a prestige school, but you want prestige money. It's ridiculous, and I've acknowledged all that the callers and they have said. It's not that we are basing our contribution on negativity. We want good results, we want positive, because we do not want our children to go out there and say, oh God, my teacher wasn't good. Pastor Gogo, my children went on the first day and the last day of school, and you know, my children is in the early 40s. Pastor Gogo, it's because I expect that when my children go to school, when the government says school is open, my children is there early too. When school closed, they are there as well. They must not waste the government or the teachers' time. So the teachers, and they cannot come and tell us nonsense. We are adults. We know the children go to school to learn, and the government provides a safe environment. So are they telling us we must now get a big screen in every classroom and get a tutor from abroad to teach our children and let them stay home and teach their children? Because let me tell you, Pastor Google, I hear a teacher say, oh, something about she have her son to go to school. The government not hiring you to look after your son. They're hiring you to teach children. You take that responsibility after you get paid to hire somebody to take care of your child, drop them to school, and so on. Do not come late in the classroom and say that you want the same amount of money. It's ridiculous that the teachers and the union to tell us nonsense. And I think it's all about politics. It has nothing to do with razor pay and thing. Why would you want to pay $10,000 rent? You're making somebody else rich and our children done? You're not teaching our children. We want to see good results. Have a good day.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I find the Prime Minister and them is men that have money or can't, and they, right now they may just settle down and live a nice life. Go IMF and give them the money, and let IMF tell them what to do. Like when they do Chimba, when Chimba offer them 6%. And then right. Yeah, so go IMF and give them, and IMF, let all of them go home. And give them to live in Calcutta or somewhere in Africa.
All right. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pastor Google. So before I address those social miscreants, let me first commend the teachers that are out today, because there are a lot. I just passed about 3 schools and I realized there are classes in session. So let me commend the patriotic, conscientious teachers who turned out today to give the service that they are being paid for. Pastor Google, if I go before the CPO, obviously I would ask him why I'm not getting my demand, offered to me. If I'm asking for 15%, boy, all I could only offer is 4%. You tell me I have no reason in my mind where I could ask the CPO to say, CPO, why? Now the CPO is going to explain, the Ministry of Finance is going to explain that, listen, if we pay you all this amount, we have to worry about this recurrent expenditure year on year on year on year. Now, we have the revenues now, and we know the markets are going up and down, right? These people, they know exactly what is going on, Pastor Google, and nobody could tell me that the head of this tutor, and she's a disruption, sir. From the day she went into office to now, she has been disrupting this country via the school system. And they know exactly what's going on past the Google. Now, all I am trying to say to the union people, you have to learn to negotiate. Now, we can't negotiate for 34% and negotiate something on the side. How about having preference on the future offering of shares or any national investment fund? How about negotiating a windfall lump sum anytime gas or oil reaches a certain price? You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Google? They are not educating their members. And because their members are not educating themselves, or a lot of them are not educating themselves, they are pulling them left and right. And look at what it's costing Trinidad. We have to be mature in this country, and people who need to be mature in this country, they refuse to become mature. Have a good day, Pastor Google.
Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Pastor Google. Hope you're hearing me.
Loud and clear.
Now, this morning, I am a poor fellow. I have a young man that lives with me. Goes to a special school. So, for the week, try and get the young lady stuff, get she ready for school, organize the young man, send him at the barber yesterday. So that there is a cost to me. 2 years they've been home, me and no internet, and because of their being home and online classes, I have to take out an internet. So that's an additional expense to me. Even though, yes, the child not going to school, so I might save that passage. But as he's home, or she is home, they eat more. Alright. 2 years, they haven't seen their friends, and look forward this morning, the boy get up, ready to go. And tell them here what's going on. No, you can't go in, your teacher's on strike. One teacher is saying one day doesn't make a difference. For the child who is going to school for the first time with an expectation to go to a primary school, this one day has just broke that individual, that young man or woman's learning ability or respect for the school. Because here we're going on. After my mother make all that effort and get me ready, and I dress, I get in the car and reach in front of the school to realize that here we're going, I'm going back home. So right there you break my expectations, my hope, my dreams for one day. And I tell them this is going to have an effect for the next 5 to 10 years. Because in UK, we say how much percentage of the children scored under 50% of the marks. I was giving them 3 weeks of lessons for free. Some of them didn't turn up, and I heard somebody saying it's because of the teachers was embarrassed, the parents are embarrassed for the children to go to lessons. In England, 20 million children have the same problem. And the English government is trying to do something. We already ahead of the game because they only 3 weeks of lessons. Right? And now it's time to go to school. The teachers home, they didn't have to spend no gas to go, no passage. They didn't have to dress up. They didn't have to buy no sneakers. They could cook, eat lunch, everything while they were home for 2 years. And they're making noise for 4%. And here we're going on $4 billion faster Google. If I take 2% and I leave the state with 2% and I tell the state as the union, take the next $2 billion from the $4 billion and develop a piece of land for us as workers or teachers, and everybody could get a lot, and we contribute if it's $1,000 each one a week, and we go make back up the another $2 billion to buy our next set to do. And you understand what I'm saying? No vision. So right now I have a problem that in the next 10 years I will have a group of children who go to school and was not able to finish their education because of one day. See today? Because of this one day. I tell them, I heard Suraj Ramachan this morning saying, how it is, those schools are not doing as well as Hindu schools. And it's a culture. I said, no. In Hindu schools, there's a private, religious-run institution. Compare to a teacher who is working for the state. In that religious organization, performance, be told talk. In a government school, 5, 10 teachers in the school, 3 of them, when 9 o'clock, they put down a piece of work on the board, and when 9 o'clock, 3 of them having a conference, one on the phone, and the next 2 talking about either their husband, or what car they're driving, or who look good. What is the problem I have? So until we, for 60 years, ain't understand the value of Trinidad and Tobago and be patriots, we ain't going to any faster, Ruger.
All right. Thank you very much.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Shalom. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohana will be on the street 91.9 FM every Monday from 7:05 p.m. to 8 p.m. bringing you the truth according to the Bible. The ISUPK is a non-profit faith-based community organization that will respond to the plagues that's affecting blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. We also have programs such as education, both adult and youth, food distribution, rehabilitation, both drug and alcohol, mentoring, counseling, and spiritual support. Remember, tune in every Monday on 91.9 FM, 7:05 p.m. Shalom.
In Trinidad and Tobago, there are so many things to talk about. Social issues, injustice, child abuse, domestic violence, political scandals, and much more. On HOTP, we will cover all that and much more. Don't forget, you can catch us every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday nights from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Facebook and Instagram. Hot off the press. Hot topics, no filter.
Reggae Rock Sundays featuring MC Duke and Selector Kutchi present Reggae and Rockers. On board the Embassy Yacht on September 24th, Republic Night. Boarding 10 p.m. and sailing at 11 p.m. at the Hyatt Waterfront in Port of Spain. Get your reggae groove on. With top DJs, Selector Kutchi, Bruce Wayne, TC, and Heavy Duty. Early bird tickets cost $150. After that, you pay more, $175. For tickets, call Selector Kutchi at 777-7909 and MC Duke at 349-4121. Reggae and Rockers Republic Night. No oversized schoolers allowed. Don't miss it.
Every Friday, it's all about Fire Mood Soca Fridays with MC Duke and Selector Kutchi from 6 straight to 9 p.m. blazing all the latest and past soca hits. So remember, make it a line, make it a day, rock and come in, you know. It's all about Fire Mood Soca Fridays on the Street 919 FM. You don't know.
Hi Trinidad and Tobago, this is yours truly, Pastor Charles, streaming live from Port of Spain, Trinidad, Maraval Road, 91.9. Our services start from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning from the first, the second, and last Wednesday of the month. We are going to have a T-R-M-E time in the presence of God. We will be praying, praise God, for our nation. We'll be praying for families. We'll be praying for those that are sick and those that are in need. Tune in to the best station, 91.5 FM, Street Live, Port of Spain, Maraval.
If you're experiencing pain, constipation, headaches, poor blood circulation, high or low blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, swollen or darkened feet, come visit us at Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle offer a wide range of services. Come and experience our new 3D analyzer, which allows you to have a look inside your body. We also provide live blood analysis, iridology, ionic foot detox with foot soak and foot massage, aquatherapy, full body massage, and organic supplements on sale such as Nano Silver, Nano Zinc, Body Light, cold pressed sesame oil, and more. Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria, opposite Eastern Credit Union. For more information, call 275-8359 or 288-1108.
Join Nicole Huggins for Health and Wealth Lifestyle Tuesday morning from 11:05 to 12 noon. Right here on the street, 919 FM.
Good, that boat I'm looking like a real bad.
Are you ready for that boat experience again? The Sea Champion and the Embassy say book with us for that unforgettable boat ride experience. Sea Champion leaving from King's Wharf, San Fernando, and the Embassy leaving from Breakfast Shed, Port of Spain, or Westside Trinidad. For more information, call 399-595-9, 281-4723, or email us at coralvisiontT@gmail.com. Book now and reserve your cruise.
Hey, that boat I look like it's as well. So the out and bad and the people better we call the trouble.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in Sangre Grande, for the old-time gospel Our Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., to the Children's Hour Worship Ministry of the Word and the Family Forum every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Law and You, and every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. All Night Prayer Live, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective. You will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and walk humbly with thy God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222. For further information, call 753-1113 or email us at church668hope@gmail.com.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Education, education, this is the foundation. Our rising population needs sound education to be recognized anywhere you go. Have your certificate to show, to enjoy any kind of happiness. Knowledge is the key to success. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you won't catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. For employment, yes, employment, you must be intelligent. It's essential, very essential to have your credentials. But if you're block-headed like a mule, no one will employ a fool. You'll be the last one to be hired and the first one to be fired. Children go to school and learn well, otherwise later on in life you go catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't follow idle companions or you will get burned. To earn, you got to learn. Illiteracy is man's greatest enemy. It's your duty, yes, your duty, stamp it out completely. Ignorance always impedes progress. Education saves you much distress. So learn as much as you can, for the nation's future's in your hand. Children, stay in school and learn well, otherwise later on in life you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. It's a treasure, yes, a treasure beyond any measure. Just secure it, don't ever ignore it. To fight life's battles come what may, education lights up your way. Without it you'll never get through. Success or failure now is up to you. Children, go to school and learn well, otherwise later on in life you won't catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today.
Alright, I'm back with you, Trinidad and Tobago. I had to play that song by Sparrow. I don't know how many of you, but when you're growing up, your grandparents told you had to learn that song, you know. So I'm on my last and final hour with you. We were talking about the teachers and their response to today, and they're not going back out to school. And a lot of people I know they were sharing their views. I want to play some voice notes because I know there are some people who would have sent some voice notes and they would have want me to play them. So let me play some voice notes and And then from there, we're going to continue to take your calls. All right? I have a video I want to play too, you know. I have another video I want to play. Okay.
Pastor Google, good morning. Nice weather. How are you? What I'm saying this morning is that I was thinking about those young people too who just robbing all over. In Indian Walk here, they had the place in a mess with robbery. And I don't know if the police station open back in St. Mary's, you know? All those small businesses, those people with those little things side the road, young people trying to make $1, Pastor Google. They have been robbed. They're going into people's home, they're robbing them. We need to have more police on this area too, okay? Because they're overdoing it, right? I was saying if it didn't have so much a lawyer in this place fighting for these people when police lock them up to bring them back out to do the same crime again. But listening to this pastor talking here, I kind of think about it different. But in the meantime, you still have to lock them up because what he talking about there, that wouldn't happen in a day or two time, right? You have to bring them up now in this kind of way now. You have to start that with a fresh set of children. Not these head them we done doing what they had to do. You know? I was saying bring out the law for them. Bring out the law because if you don't give stiff penalty in this country, this wouldn't stop. This is a rich country. Everybody looking to come here to make $1. Okay? And unless this is stop, people might run from this place. Because it don't make no sense you're fighting to make $1 outside here. And when done, somebody come in to thief it from you. Beating you too, killing you too, if possible. Nah, Pastor Guru, I don't know. I fed up prayer, you know. Although you can't fed up prayer. But I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up on praying.
Pastor Google, Tobago in the house. Pastor Google, I listened to that interview with that tutor lady. She sounded like she was grasping at straw. She didn't know what she was saying. When the show host was asking her certain question, he asked her, how much you looking at? She started beat wrong the Mary Bush until she said 50%. And he said, well, it comes like you all are asking for the full figure. They don't want to compromise. Pastor Google, I can do it my back pay right about now. But these unions are all on politics. They are not watching what is taking place out there. You were home for 2 years and how much months? What rest and reflect do you all want? Pastor Google, my daughter is an OJT teacher and she is out at Blackrock School, Blackrock Primary School right now. The Secretary Zoisha Hackett said, which I give her praise for that Tobago will be having school. There's only one school would not be open today, which would be Scarborough Secondary School. Well, I await the news to hear which other school besides Scarborough Sec did not open because they was doing repairs. And I can't understand this thing. We had a whole holiday, 2 months, plus when they wasn't at school and they was at home, that these things could have been done. And I don't care if it was this administration and the last administration. These repairs and things could have been done because they were working at home. But nevertheless, these unions are playing games. And some of these headless chickens and them members who following them not making no sense. So if you take 4% for one term, for one negotiation, try and negotiate again for another 5% or so for adding another term, and because it's 3 negotiations it have Pastor Google, and then now you watch how the economy flowing out things, and then you could have asked for your 15, 40, 25%. Come on, that extra $200, $400 will do a lot for some of us. But according to what somebody said, we Trinidadians, Trinidad and Tobago, now we too greedy, we ungrateful. So Pastor Google, I watching. Rest and reflect nothing.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. It looked like a sharp student this morning. The teacher didn't come out. But disappointed. The teachers are never going to come out, man. The children, put the children first. Then we go do with the government after. People want money, Pascal. The place hard. Good afternoon, Pascal. You come out sharp this morning, Pascal. To do the government work to fool the people. Continue doing the good work at the piano, Pascal. Great is the piano, people suffering. Chairman.
Pastor Google, good afternoon. Pastor Google, between 2020 and 2022, these teachers was home teaching. They came online and gave the children book, and that was it. For 2 years. Now my daughter is a teacher. She has a 5th standard class, she is teaching, and the children that comes out, she is teaching today.
Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google, how are you doing?
I am okay, sir.
Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Pastor Google, you know, I am listening to the discussion about education, and a man call and say one day will have an effect on students for the next 10 years. Pastor Google, wasn't the school chain closed in Trinidad during the pandemic for 2 years? That is about over 700 days, right? Wouldn't that have more of an effect on those students being out of school for 2 years? How about, Pastor Google, the people from Chumaka, Glavant, who had to look at an abandoned building for over 2,500 days? Wouldn't that have a more mental effect on them, Pastor Google? Pastor Google, how about taking the $200 million that they're going to spend on the healthcare employees and pay the teachers? The teachers supposed to be the highest paid in the country. But when the teachers standing right for the rights to get paid, you have a man, and I want to give him 3 PhDs today, Pastor Google. I want to give him a PhD in dotishology, a PhD in stupidology, a PhD in foolishology. And he didn't have to go to UE to get those. He get all of them online. You know, it is sad, Pastor Google. Just as how Pastor Google, and I'm going to close with this, just as how I'm going to, Pastor Google, people in Trinidad and Tobago are saying that they should close down the scrap iron industry for a year. Pastor Google, them people wicked and evil. You know why? Them people have to buy food for the kids. They have to buy school book for the kids. They have to get health plan for the kids. And people calling this radio station and saying that they should close down the scrap iron industry for a year. And finally, Pastor Google, I want your party and my party, the PNM, to go look at what South Africa is doing with their scrap iron industry and look at the policies that they're putting in place. Pastor Google, you have a splendiferous, tremendous, splentastic, fantabulous, and marvelous rest of the day.
Before you go,
Bye-bye.
Yeah. The reason why I want to ask you this. So South Africa would have had a problem with scrap iron dealers.
Yes.
And because they had a problem with scrap iron dealers, they would have had to put things in place to deal with them.
Yes, they put policies in place rather than go and close it down.
Yeah, but they did close them down. Wait, no, why are you giving disinformation? They closed them down and then putting things in place. Didn't that happen?
No, Pastor Google.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get Bishop Divertile on the phone, who living in South Africa, and let him tell the nation what they did. Right? There are other parts, but there are other parts of the world. Wait, just now.
Before you go.
No. And there are other parts of the world where they would have shut down the industry, like Jamaica, shut down the industry, just like Kenya shut down the industry. So because South Africa doing something, that doesn't mean that and right here in Trinidad and Tobago, even though we shut down, could you let me finish?
Go ahead.
Even though we shut down the industry, the minister also said that once they come up with a proper way of dealing with it, it can open before 6 months. Right? So the thing about it is, I have a report here where a scrap iron dealer was arrested for guns and ammunition, and much more than just guns and ammunition, but US dollars and gold with jewelry and all these sort of things. You understand? All I'm saying is allow the process to go through and let them deal with the thing. They putting regulations in place. They close it down to put regulations in place. You could call and scream to high heavens how much you think that they shouldn't close it down. At the end of the day, we are not the only ones that close it down. And what you are asking the government to watch the shoes that South Africa put on the foot of their scrap iron dealers to put the same shoes on. I am saying that we have to cut our cloth and our pants and our shoes to fit us properly. You understand?
You know, Pastor Google, it's interesting that you want Trinidad and Tobago to follow Kenya.
I never said
follow
that.
Jamaica.
I never said that. I said that. But in Kenya and in Jamaica, it's closed indefinitely. I never said to follow them. I'm saying that they are.
But listen. Go ahead.
I'm saying that they're putting things in place right now. And the minister keeps saying it. The minister keeps saying that if it don't have to take 6 months, it could be less.
Why do you have to cut and paste Kenya and Jamaica? Why don't you be innovative enough to come up with your own policy that doesn't have to follow Jamaica or Kenya? How about that?
But I just said to you, sir, you're not listening, and you want to come on the radio to bring your misinformation, right? You coming on the radio to spread fake and false and emotional news. You're not listening to what I just said. And because you're not listening to what I just said, you are picking and you're nitpicking and trying to spew out misinformation. I just said to you, and I keep saying it, but you keep sliding it off, where I just said to you that the minister said that they don't have to take 6 months for the industry to be regulated. It could be done in less than 6 months. You're not hearing that. You're just hearing that we close it down. And let me tell you something, and I just said to you, and again, to show you how you really come to misinform the listeners. Again, I said to you just a while ago, I said that the Jamaicans, and they close it down, Kenya closed it down indefinitely. Imagine that. Kenya has closed it down indefinitely. Right? You will hear that. And we did not take the Kenya approach, but you still referring to Kenya with Trinidad and Tobago. That's deliberately trying to fool people. Why are you doing that? We're having a discussion. I told you that Kenya closed it down indefinitely. Trinidad and Tobago closed it for 6 months. You still coming to say we're using the Kenya model. That is not being deliberately deceitful. Let me show you what that is like. I want to show you what Wall Street just did. Come on in live. I want to show you all what Wall Street is trying to do. That is a typical model of the UNC. I'm going to show you how that's a typical model of the UNC. Come on the live. I'll show you how it's a typical model of the UNC. Right? I am sick and fed up of it. Listen to this. This is what the UNC does do. Listen. And it's the same thing that Wall Street just did. Listen to this. And look at this. Listen to it and you tell me if it's not the same thing that Wall Street doing.
I don't know if people forget, but when Kamala Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister, the opposition led by Dr. Keith Rowley boycotted independence celebration for the 50th anniversary of our nation's independence. So any PNM person who condemns the opposition member or any opposition member not attending independence is a hypocrite.
And opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley said the additions gave the parade a nice touch.
There were a lot of nice aspects to it. A couple of new initiatives. Nice, interesting.
After leaving the Savannah, the parade headed in a westerly direction, eventually ending at King George V Park.
So you tell me. So you blatantly lie. Because we have the evidence to show that you're lying. You blatantly lie. And now you're trying to do what? Who you fooling? And I really hope that they address this at their Monday night forum. And they wouldn't, They would not. They will not come and apologize. Or they will not come and say, here what? What we said there wasn't true. Or I was misinformed. Or I misinformed the nation. They wouldn't do that. And that's what Wall Street and there's hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Pastor Guru. Well, I'm glad that you're correcting, because that is what I was coming to do. Coming on to correct misinformation. A matter of fact, Pastor Google, that going way past misinformation. No. Those things are called blatant lies.
It's deliberate. Because if I'm saying to you, if you telling me, Pastor Google, no, we're not using the model of Kenya, because Kenya has banned it indefinitely. And I keep saying, but we're using the model of Kenya. What am I trying to do?
You're trying to put misinformation in the public domain. You're trying to stir people. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even understand, because he don't live here to see the problems that we have. Where your internet service goes down when you're calling and calling with your provider, and it's not their problem. Only to know that somebody's passed and steal the cables. And I keep saying this. People in the neighborhoods are fed up of these scrap iron dealers, and recently they hold two guys and beat them up. If this thing is allowed to fester and go out of hand, vigilante groups will hold these fellas on them until somebody dies, then to do something. But in the meantime, they're scrapping Trinidad and Tobago. They even church bell, they even gate, they even win. They even anything that they can turn and sell. And what is more despicable is the so-called 8 people who collect these items and sell it on the international money and make US dollars. They are the ones that complaining about when you shut it down for 6 months. People will be out of thing and no food to eat or nothing. That's total rubbish.
I would like to find out. I would like to interview somebody from Anibitam who does do scrap iron deal, because I don't hear them making any noise. I would like to know why.
Pastor Google, they're still passing around and collecting and putting in there. It's just a matter of time before the government, the 6 months expire and they can go ahead and sell their goods. But things will have to be changed. I mean, these true customs are something the government know how to put more revenue and other things to inspect these things. When I mean, oh God, logically, man, oh God, Pastor Google, you see a man coming to sell you a church bell and you buying that?
Right, I'm hearing it's more than one bell they stole.
They will thieve those things because the bells on them is that's plenty money they will get for it. They're making this stealing people's property, and that's where the problem comes. That's a capital crime all over the world. Grand theft. You know, until here, this fellow who always claims that he's some professor or whatever thing. He is disgusting. Somebody's supposed to be calling it whatever university. If if he's some any universe and show the kind of nonsense he'd be talking, and because he wasting down, if whoever he represents in any university, he wasting them down with each other lies. The man have an agenda. You understand? And it is not helpful. He lives across in the United States and collect his whatever he gets there. He's whatever allegiance he signed to the United States, but cause him trying to cause Prussia in our country. The man he's becoming a threat to our society, you know. I mean, he knows that if he reads and follow, because he will do his research, but he find little things to kind of switch it. We cover and say that we're going the way of those things and ban it forever. We're not banning it forever. We need these fellas, as a matter of fact. But it's stealing with property, man, and we can handle that. Don't come and pick my gate. Thanks.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, Mr. Paul Spain.
These people and them believe that we really don't listen. This is patient leniency by Wall Street. He deliberately calls into this public program. You really don't know what Khadija Amin said. Do you believe that he didn't listen to the interview with you and Garth Sinclair? Yes, he did. But the wicked, how come you are commenting on that? Knowing fully well, Wall Street, that the PNM in opposition attended independence celebration, unlike the UNC with the PNM in office. I know personally, I have never seen them in emancipation, in opposition. Wall Street, whenever I come on, I don't come on to lie like you know. You deliberately be lying, you know who's talking there? My strength is my facts, you know. And you deliberately came in this afternoon to disrupt Pastor Google program. And I ain't letting you get away with that, you know. Because of the fact that you know fully well what is the fact about it. To avoid all the facts about it, these sapphires. To avoid all the lies by Khadija Amin, who once was said by Jack Warner was very nice when seeing colors of the dollars. You know, we really have a call you out to know Wall Street. I ain't letting you go at all, you know. So use one of these false professors that we have. And don't say there's no PNM. Call it out again. Anti-PNM, you know no part of no PNM. PNM no come to life. And avoid the fact Google telling you over and over, and you're trying to jump all over like a grasshopper. Not when I listening, brother. I like a pillar are always right there waiting for your mistake. Not on me. I ain't letting you get away with that. Stop calling to disrupt the man program. Right? Thank you very much, Google.
Thank you very much.
I would keep some of emotion because if I go to talk Wall Street, you could be exposed, you know. Thank you.
All right. So those of you on Facebook, in case you missed it, I don't know if you all saw the video I showed a while ago on Facebook. But in case you missed it on Facebook, I'll show it again. So if you missed it on Facebook, come on and you would see what I played a while ago. Right? So
I don't know if people forget, but when Kamla Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister, the opposition led by Dr. Keith Rowley boycotted independence celebration for the 50th anniversary of our nation's independence. So any PNM person who condemns the opposition member or any opposition member not attending independence is a hypocrite. Don't know if people forget, but when Kamla Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister, the opposition led by Dr. Keith Rowley boycotted independence celebration for the 50th anniversary of our nation's independence. So any PNM person who condemns the opposition member or any opposition member not attending independence is a hypocrite.
And opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley said the additions gave the parade a nice touch.
There were a lot of nice aspects to it. A couple of new initiatives, Nice, interesting.
After leaving the savannah, the parade headed in a westerly direction, eventually ending at King George V Park.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. Keep up the good work. Proud of you, proud of you. Keep up the good work. Pastor Google, is tutor the employer or the government? Pastor Google, I wish the government will pay those who went out to work today. Since tutor is them, they're working for tutor, let tutor pay them. Let the freighters find money and pay everybody. Have a good day. Bless you.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. I keep asking this question. These teachers that are doing these things to these children, if when they were going to school, their teachers had done this kind of wickedness to them, if they would have been teachers today, children, for the most part, children just love their teachers. When you do them this wickedness, do you all expect them to love you all? Your first day of school, you look forward, new uniform, new books, you're anxious. Your mom, you have to go in your bed. When you're getting up before time, you want it because you want. And to do them this is wickedness. You just look forward to your first day of school. All you think, if all the teachers do that to all you, all you expect them to love all you when all you do that to them? Come on, man. Better than that. For a few dollars? Come on.
Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon.
Use an enemy for bringing out the truth.
Pardon?
I say use an enemy for bringing out the truth. You hear me?
I didn't hear you what you said, no.
I said use an enemy for bringing out the truth.
I'm an enemy for bringing out the truth?
Trust me, I'm telling you, yes, they go there and get it. So they would never like. Yes, man.
I hear you.
And for can tell them, try a different style. You can't want, in 2020 election, you tell them you can't want to operate the same way and get into government. You have to try a different style. Yeah, and not for nothing. They will never change up. But you can be the follower, but don't follow your leader.
Yeah, but
try to change up such that way a court go see operating different and come in fair.
Yeah, but my thing is, Kola, if you really want to win people to confidence in you and you lying like that, you
have to speak the truth.
Come on, if you lying for simple things, and if you're lying for simple things like that,
simple, this what?
How you telling me people will close their eyes to simple lies? If your girlfriend lying to you for a simple thing, you think she will tell you the truth for the real thing?
Obvious. And Pastor Goga, I always say the both sides have their supporters, the hardcore supporters. You see the undecided will just make the difference, because when the undecided stay in and listen, when the undecided stay in and listen, when the day reach, them know what they're going and do. Not because they like any party.
No.
You understand me?
Yeah.
But them just make the difference. Why this party? I mean, you want to get into everything is a bun lie. Everything is a non-fact.
Yeah.
You ain't going on and double check.
But you know
You
what?
understand? Because you want to get into government.
But you know what will make you all right. So let's just say you want to become credible, or you want people to realize, okay, nah, she make a mistake and she came now and she apologized and she would clear it up. You know they wouldn't do that either.
Clear out what? Banging it right through, and they know it how some 9 days people. It has automatically become truth.
Yes.
Constant knocking it in the media. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So that is what you and the rest of them do for Dominic or all Sharon and all that is to keep on pumping the truth.
Thank
that
you.
Is what.
Thank you very much.
All right, power. Yeah.
I just hate to see people happy. That's why I love the president. She danced through the whole independence season.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Pastor.
Hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you and listeners. Hear me?
Yeah, hearing you loud and clear.
Right. Now, I listen to the guy that calls himself Wall Street, and I don't know what it is in Trinidad. It comes like David of the land, they say that, you want a budget for particular policy for the people. And you're looking at the industry with respect to scrap iron. Why, when we try to remedy situation in the way that it should, people have a problem with it and always questioning the question of poor people. Poor people don't complain. Once they get it right, poor people have the patience in it. So that is the way we have to do it. And I don't think Dr. Oliver should move on that. The other thing, the UNC will grasp at anything to get into office. I listen to the condition of it and I say, my God. For years, the UNC and the supporters don't ever come to anything from a national perspective unless they're in office. And Pastor Gogo, I have been saying it for years. If you want to be the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, you have to demonstrate two aspects of your leadership. One, leadership within your party with a national conversation, and one, when you get into office, you always have to push nationalism. Kamala Prasad don't do that. And she teaches her followers the same way. So I'm begging people, don't let those people run your country. Our country. The other thing, that guy with respect to Saddam Hussein, I want people to notice it. A lot of people out here have no respect for Dr. Oil because he's a black man. They have no respect for him. And you know what's amazing? Anthony Roberts came out with videos being critical of Dr. Oil's wife in whatever avenue they had. Not one black organization, not one black man came out and said, hey, this is wrong. When Dr. Oil responds, well-spoken black fellas making videos with what is a nonsensical thing when the black man responds. Pastor Google, thank you. Something wrong with black people. All the best.
Thank you very much. I wanted to play some voice notes. Do I have them there? Yeah, I think I have some voice notes to play. I want you to please excuse my voice. As I said earlier on, I was kind of suffering with the Sahara dust kind of thing, so I'm kind of nasal. Sorry about that. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Pastor Google.
Yes, Uncle Sterling. Hello? Hello? Uncle Sterling? Hello? I don't know what's happening here. Uncle Sterling? Hello?
Uncle Sterling, you get cut off.
Yeah, you get cut off. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. I listened to a man a while ago calling all kind of long names Well, them fellas big boy. Long names telling you, right? Now, I were to ask him, in America, where they have security guards, guarding electric people who go and do electrical work with their teeth in the copper. I wonder if you know about that. Right? Secondly, they take my mother whole roof.
Understand the context.